Attempt on Trump. I have not seen so many attempts on any president in my life. Is he really worth all that? Is he really that bad? No, he isn't. It's called TDS, folks. It's a new phrase that has come about called Trump derangement syndrome. Obama screwed up healthcare with the Obamacare. Clinton was the biggest joke, getting his willy sucked under the Oval Office table. I wonder if the Secret Service had a view of all that. With Monica. Monica being the classic good Caucasian girl that she is, got him to fall and then went and told everybody. Why are we surprised? That's what they do. I tell you, man, don't fool with these girls. They will get you. Don't fool them. Bill Clinton was not the wisest duck in the pond. But my op-ed here, if I was married to Hillary Clinton, I'd probably cheat too. She is not what I would call sweet or ladylike or feminine at all. Why so many attempts on Donald Trump? Who's doing it? Anti-Trumpers, people who hate Trump. And I want to say something. The Democrats scream and yell about gun control constantly. Except at these assassination attempts of him. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed the media silence? Pay attention to that. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, TMZ, the whole press room, went into complete celebration mode. And then they tried to backpedal that. Anybody listening to TMZ today supports the devil. That's exactly what I believe. TMZ is trash. When we, as a country, who claim to believe in free speech, celebrate the assassination of somebody that we or others disagree with, are we not being hypocritical? Violence is not the answer to those you disagree with. And Americans, there's a lot of people in this country that I've heard out of their own mouths, you better shut up or I'll kill you. Oh, you believe in freedom of speech until somebody says something you don't like. Bingo. Got a hot one for you. I can't stand the Democratic Party, but I don't believe in assassinating them. They need to be removed from office. They need to be sent to the moon and inhabit the moon and go away. Killing somebody you don't agree with is not the answer. We should not be involved in Iran because of the simple reason it's a Muslim culture. You're not going to change the belief system rooted deeply within the culture. You can get rid of a regime, but they're indoctrinated, raised up, and steeped in the ways of the Quran. And in that Quran, it calls for the destruction of us infidels. It calls for the destruction of all that convert not to Allah. Slay the infidel wheresoever you find it. It's in the Quran. Look it up for yourself. It's funny, the Democrats want to champion Muhammad and Islam and bring them all over here, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. And, Muhammad was a pedophile. He took an 8-year-old girl from her parents and made an 8-year-old girl his wife. How come the Democrat Party ignores that? Why are they silent about that? Oh, because they support Epstein, who was into underage chickies. And I'm getting tired of these asshats, leftist losers on the internet that run their mouth and type. Trump's an idiot. He was involved in Epstein. They're just using the shooting as a distraction. Yeah, Trump staged another attempt on his life. You are a special kind of tool that don't work for nothing. He called for release of the files. Did you forget that, Democrats? No other president did. Not Biden, not Clinton, not Obama. That wasn't their focus. So shut your mouth, Democrats. You guys are liars. Liars. And you forget what happened a year ago and 2 years ago. And you push. 40% of young people want socialism. Obviously, they didn't pay attention to Hitler and the Third Reich, did they? Those that don't learn from history are destined to what? Bring it back. Bring it, baby. Repeat it again. I don't think Trump is perfect. But it's clear we got a violent subculture in this country, raised on Grand Theft Auto, violent video games, and they have the gall to tell me that doesn't cause me to be violent. Yeah, I'm looking at pornography doesn't cause lust. Stupid people breed stupid people. And schools and colleges are giving degrees to stupid people. Whether you like Trump or not, supporting a culture of violence could be your own undoing. Always remember that. I've grown up in this country. It's full of bullies on both sides of the fence. I've been around Republicans that threatened to kick my butt simply because they didn't like me. That is not okay, people. I don't care what time in history it is. You don't just punch somebody in the face or tear them up because you don't like them. What kind of freedom is that? It's the law of the jungle, the law of the idiot. You want to talk about gun control Democrats? Then take them away from yourselves. You want to talk about population control? Then do the world your favor and commit an abortion on you. Bill Gates is worried about overpopulation? Well, then go away. You're worried about global warming? Well, then sell your house and downsize and go green, buddy. The Democrats define the word hypocrisy. And no matter what they say about Republicans, Democrats define the word hypocrisy. You don't hear anybody talking about gun control when somebody tries to take out the president. Remember, Biden was telling parents, if your child wants to change their sex, you should facilitate that. Do you know who's been shooting up the schools the last couple of years? Was it MAGA people? Was it Christians? Was it conservatives? Was it people like me who are wearing women's tops? No, it was transgender. Transgender. Oh, everybody thinks that they're persecuted and harassed. No, they're killing people. They're supporting people who are against their view. They supported Charlie Kirk when he was assassinated. He was taken out by a clown that was in love with a tranny. Put the freaking puzzle pieces together and the picture becomes clear. You got a butthole on the internet who goes on and on and on and on about me, doesn't get a job, lives in mommy or daddy's house, wears a maid outfit, ugly as fuck, and thinks he's a girl, and gets money for super chats, attacking me and anybody else he doesn't like, including another transgender. but on his page it says he stands up for trans rights. Really? You criticize me for women wearing women's clothes when you dress like a little girl and you claim to be a girl, but you were born a boy. I'm going to tell you who the violent people are. It's not me. I'm not the one waving guns around and all that tough macho crap. Christians are known by being non-violent. That's one of the hallmarks of a Christian. We don't believe in killing people by the sword in the name of Allah. We do believe in the death penalty. We do believe that the government bears the sword and we're supposed to submit to governing authorities. God's given them that right. I love these whiny liberals that we're against the death penalty. Okay. What does Romans have to say about all that? A lot. Let every person be in subjection to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those which exist are established by God. Therefore, he who resists authority has opposed the ordinance of God, and they who have opposed will receive condemnation upon themselves. For rulers are not a cause of fear for good behavior, but for evil. Do you want to have no fear of authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. For it is a minister of God to you for good, but if you do what is evil, be afraid, for it does not bear the sword for nothing. Sword, weapon. I love the Democrats. They talk about violence and aggression, but you support playing violent video games and kids drowning in Grand Theft Auto in the basement all day. And Hollywood produces nothing but violent movies. And now they got a hot-looking white woman with nipples poking out, holding a gun. Oh, she's hot. She's hot, huh? Yeah, she might just put a bullet in your head in the bed. Great wife, huh? I don't have to see things the way society does. I see things according to the way it is. Transgenders have been shooting up schools. Clowny Yaws has been silent about that. I'm here to debate you. Debate that, clown. Debate that, clown. Debate that fact, clown. The group you're part of, when they get their feelings hurt, they just pick up a gun and shoot people. So tell me one more time you want to champion the rights of transgenders. I'm not the one killing and calling for the destruction of people. These people making assassination attempts on Trump are fools. God will not honor that. God will not honor somebody trying to take out Biden or Kamala or anybody else. The Bible says, do not seek revenge. This is something that the African American community is not taught in their churches, not taught by Democrats. Real or imagined racism. You have a black guy breaking the law, not following directions, ends up getting killed. Oh, it's systemic racism. You were told to put your hands in the air. Instead of doing this, you went like you're fumbling around for a weapon. Bye. Submit to the governing authorities. Doesn't say what color. It says submit. It means all of us. Officer pulls me over. I need your hands where I can see. Yes, sir. Can I see your license? It's in my pocket. Do you want me to open the door so you can see me? You do what he tells you. That's it. You notice when whites are pulled over, there's nobody filming it? Do you notice when whites are pulled over, there's nobody filming it? Do you notice when Caucasians are pulled over, there's nobody filming it? Do you notice when Caucasians are pulled over, there's nobody filming it? Do you notice when anything happens with a white guy and the police, nobody's out there with their phone out? Do you notice when there's something going on with a Caucasian and the police, nobody's out there filming it? But when there's a black guy, all the cameras. Pay attention to that, people. Pay attention to that. I speak the truth and people get pissed. So many attempts on Trump. These clowns are stupid. You shoot him, you're locked up for life. And all you're going to do is put J.D. Vance in there. And all you're going to do is galvanize the rest of us to say, you know what? We need to keep the Democrats out because it's them that's shooting everybody. Go look in the black community in America. Do some homework. Black on black violence is high. Is it because of whites? Is it because of conservatives? Is it because of this? Is it because of Aunt Jemima or Dr. Seuss or Uncle Ben? Whose fault is it that black on black violence is the highest ethnically in the nation? Exactly. Because of a party that lies to them, secures their favor by dropping crumbs from their filthy rich table, and keeps them voting for them. And they want them to keep tearing each other up. They want them to have that division in their community. Because if you take the black society and you take the 13% of black people and they have a deja vu and the black people actually get smart about this and what is really going on and they leave the Democratic Party, the Democrats are scared crapless. You get a black man or woman to see the truth, they're a force to be reckoned with. And the Democrats know this. We used to believe when we went to school you were getting an education. Nobody realized you were getting indoctrination. In the 50s, Soviets defected and came to America, and they became college professors. Hello? Russia said you'll never have to take America by force. It'll fall from within. It is. Very much is falling. We're not going to make America great again. There's no way. Not with these morons. Not with these people that they don't agree with you, they're going to shoot and kill you. Not with 77, 80 million people that continually vote for the most obtuse loser they can vote for. Every election. We're never going to be great. It's a physical impossibility. We got too many liberals. Just walk with me for a minute. Look at the arts. Look at how many people like Cardi B's music. You think those people are going to make America a better place? Do you know when I was a kid, the song called WAP would have never got off the ground in 1966. Society, Americans would not have tolerated that. Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan would have never supported a Cardi B back then. And yet the black community supports her to this day. So what happened? The slide towards the abyss is what happened. Blacks led the way with some pretty awesome music. I get grated when I hear that rap music go down the street. I actually try to focus on what it's saying. I'm like, this isn't talent. It's just stupid. And it's tribalism. We're in a modern world and you're creating tribal music. All it is racket and a beat that shakes the whole neighborhood. It's like dogs pissing on the fence and the fire hydrant and the tree and marking their territory. I got the loudest. I got the smallest. I got the loudest because I got a little smoky between my legs and I'm dysfunctional. I'm going to exert my macho manhood. Don't look at me, white boy. I'll kill you. They size me up when they go by with that crap. It's amazing how big everybody thinks they are. I just laugh and go, wait till you run into God. Even the most jaded, callous person today, the Bible says a time's coming when they will cry out to the mountains and the rocks to fall on them and hide them from the face of him who sits on the throne. I remember the 90s when they came out with that stupid bumper sticker. Little high school geeks putting it on their truck. No fear. Let me throw an anaconda in your truck when you get in after school and see if you jump. What a joke. Everybody has fear of something. We had a kid in Mammoth High School, Jimmy Ewing. He was a butthole. He was truly a butthole. His mother spoiled him. He'd come out on the football field in elementary school in full Cincinnati Bengals regalia, the uniform, the helmet. And even the pro football kids were just like, really? Come on, it's flag football. Star Wars come out. Oh, I have all the characters. Nobody wanted to play with him. He wanted to one-upmanship everybody. And then he tried to intimidate me several times. And one day, I was walking up the road to the high school. And I looked down towards Hamburger Palace, which was the only burger establishment we had in Mammoth. Big square box building with dated 70s style and had a jukebox. And I remember my sister decided to pick Dust in the Wind. I said, wow, good depressing song, Gina. I teased her so much. Sitting there eating our Hamburger Palace hamburger. All we see passes by my eyes of curiosity. Oh, yeah. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Yeah, if you believe in evolution, you're right. But if God exists, no, we're a soul. This is the train depot. This is the station. We're waiting to catch our transport either to heaven or hell. But I looked up the road on that early morning and I heard this, oh, oh, get away from me, running in fear. And I'm like, what is going on? There was a dog barking and coming after Jimmy, and Jimmy was panicking. I stood and watched. I thought, oh, here's the little tough boy having a problem. He sees me, Nelson, help. What do you want me to do, man? Dog ain't bothering me. He come down, the dog disappeared, and he started that bowling in the locker room one day, and I said, oh, really? Said, you want to tell everybody how you were crying like a little girl up there with that dog? You better shut up or I'll kick you. Bullies, man. Just find what makes them afraid and hold it in front of their face. Old Jimmy got a showing that day. Wonder where he is now. I wonder if he's even alive. All those names that seemed so dominant when you were a kid. They're not even in my life. I don't even know where they are. As I get older, I'm curious about voices from the past. What happened to these people? In that same locker room, there was no PE teachers or coaches in there. Somebody could see through the vents of the locker. There was a nice football in there, and kids went out and grabbed a rock and banged the old dial lock and banged it until it broke off. Stole the ball. I watched the whole thing, and I'm just like, really? Group dynamics. They go on when you're an adult. Mammoth High School was probably the most dysfunctional school for a small town. A lot of rich, spoiled brat kids misbehaving. When I went to Prescott, it was so different. People weren't breaking into people's lockers. People think living in a small town is safe. I think of my friend Wanda, who lived out in Windsor in a single wide trailer. I took an hour to drive out there. It took me country road and highway and way out there in South Carolina. Every time she'd come into town to work, white 20-something-year-old rednecks would ransack her trailer, turn all the drawers upside down, steal stuff, and leave. I thought, boy, I'd like to sit in there, wait till Wanda leaves, and just sit there with an AK and wait for them to come in the door and stand up. Just the good old boys, never meaning no harm, till the day they ran into Michael with an AK-47. I was so mad what they did to this woman, putting her in fear, ransacking her trailer. She had been through hell. You think you're safe out there? White boys are a problem in small towns. White boys are a problem. Rednecks are a problem. People bragging about redneck culture. Redneck culture is just as bad as ghetto culture. They're both shit. I don't care if anybody's offended in me saying that. You're going to attack and molest a woman's humble abode when she's gone at work. Grown men don't do that. Cowards. Troubled souls. I said, you need to get out of there. I would never live out in the country in South Carolina. I hate it over there. I've already had a list of bad things happen to me. I don't want nothing to do with either Carolinas because of that. I know that sounds dumb, but that's what happens. I've had to learn some small towns, Mammoth. I was harassed and bullied all my days up there. I moved to Prescott in Arizona. Totally different strain. Nobody's bullying me. One guy did. Some clown from Auray, Colorado, a hayseed, tall, skinny, loser. He liked to put his knee in my back when I was down on my knees getting into my lower locker, and his was above mine. Came into Spanish class, and Alex Madrid, he was on the football team, big Hispanic male, much bigger than me. Mike, what's wrong? I said, oh, man. And I told him. He goes, bro, when the bell rings, go to your locker. I'm going to stand aside. I'm going to watch. Let me see this. And I did. Hasty come up, put his knee in my back. The minute I felt his knee, I heard BAM! Alex grabbed him and slammed his head against the locker and spun him around and said, what the F is your problem? Why are you putting your knee in it? I wasn't. He goes, yeah, you were. I saw you. Mike Nelson represents the track team here, and everybody likes him. What's your problem? You touch him again, I'll finish you off. Everybody in the hall turned around. I'm like, wow, that was freaking awesome. They didn't put up with that crap at Prescott. That hayseed never did it again. He waited for me to get done. I'd be quick, get my locker shut, then he'd go to his. I said, Alex, thank you. I didn't want you. He goes, no. No, he said, there's a-holes, but you're not one of them. He said, I got no tolerance for people bullying people like you. He says, people like you here. People get along with you. Some butthole from Colorado going to come down here and do that stuff. I hate Colorado. Columbine happened in Colorado. The Batman movie theater. A lot of violence in Colorado. Those boys in them small little mining towns, douchebags. Colorado can kiss my white butt cheeks. And guess what? They got a gay governor running the show. Colorado's not red, it's blue, and it's dangerous. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you left Colorado. Why? Because it sucks. Yeah, Georgia's got its problems. But it's better than Colorado. Denver, their biggest, I swear, women are literally defined by three things. Dog, Starbucks, SUV. That's it. Not a lot of great chicks in Denver, Colorado. The town that had the prettiest white women was Duluth, Minnesota. And some of them were nice. Not all uppity. Now in America, you got women 300 pounds with an attitude, thinking they're all that on a stick. What caused all this? Hollywood, school, the media, the internet. But what about before? Mammoth didn't have the internet. Nobody had the internet. was the problem with the kids in the student body of Mammoth High School. So many were so bad and bullies. Rich spoiled brat syndrome. Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, their parents were not involved with their kids. In Caucasian culture, upper middle class families are distant from their children, even with me. It became clear to me at an early age that I was not welcomed by my mother. I was an irritant. There should have been a placard on me and me stored in a corral somewhere. A female friend of mine was telling me about her mother and how her mother abused her for no reason. Didn't believe her when she was told she was raped by somebody that happened to be her mother's friend. Mother's ailing now and she's the only one to take care of her, and she said, I would have every reason to walk away from her, but I won't do that. But no, I'm not close to my mom. Whoa. One of my other friends in the UK, I'm concerned about her. She lives alone. I don't know the extent of all of her health problems, but I'm starting to wonder if she's not long in this world. It's really sad when good people have to die alone and be alone and there's nobody to look in and care. And you got these dang losers that got following and fan club and money. We need to wake up and realize this means we're near. When clowns on the internet can laugh and mock God and mock his commands and mock his ways and belittle and persecute the saints and make money and get all the popularity and the likes, we know the script has been flipped. And we know that our time is short. Don't underestimate this. It has to get worse before it gets better. People think that my assessments are harsh. No, they're not. TMZ should have been put in the trash can. Mocking and laughing when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. We're seeing a new monster rise, the absolute hatred by a society and people that hate God and hate his word. And of course, they're going to hate us. It's happening as we speak in this country. It's simmering on a burner. They're getting away with it. Certain people lost their jobs. Black woman in Atlanta ran her mouth. She lost her job. Then she's whining about it. Oh, you thought freedom of speech was only for you, honey bunches of oats. I was glad a black woman got fired for laughing about a white guy being assassinated. I was happy to see that. It's about time, all this privilege going on. But what disturbs me is my own Caucasian race has an evil in them that's deeper than my issues with certain people in the African American community. My own Caucasian race justifies violent video games, justifies all these things that are just wrong according to this. Even when I watch chat in my own, it's amazing people's false beliefs just float right out there. Hey man, there's a whole bunch of people in here that don't believe the truth. Well, good. I'm glad they're here. This may be the only truth they're subjecting themselves to. consider myself fortunate. The thunder and the lightning reminds me sometimes that the Georgia weather is just hot. Life goes on, but then that thunder and that wind. When Helene came, everybody was in their house. Some didn't dare go out there. Stuff was flying around, trees were crashing down, power lines. Yeah, not a good idea. Some clown in the neighborhood here, I watched. He'd leave his property, go down, turn around, come back, turn around, go down, turn around. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Tina was there. I said, she goes, why is he driving around? When his headlights were on the street, the rain was going horizontal. There's pine needles, leaves, and trash. When the storm abated and I walked out at 7:30, there's a black woman up the street. I said, you doing okay? She goes, I'm fine, but I'm just trying to figure out where my garbage can is. And I laughed. I said, it's probably in Iowa. I said that wind was really blowing. She never did find her Augusta City trash can. It went, whoo! They found a street sign from downtown Augusta, the Crossbuck, in Thompson. Unbelievable. There was some weird stuff going on in that storm. And I swear, it came up from the Gulf and it brought in mega mosquitoes. A few days after that, I was at Transportation, getting into school buses that drivers on Thursday, when it was raining, parked the buses and left roof hatches and windows open. I get in these buses to start them, and there were mosquitoes everywhere, and they were huge. I said, man, these mosquitoes had to be blown in on Helene. I've never seen them that big here. Somebody said, the foreman said, I opened the shop. And they were all up in there, and he said, you're right, they're very big. They could very well have been blown in on the hurricane. I was running the burn barrel by day and night, trying to whittle down the fallen oak and get rid of it all. And a black and dark blue butterfly landed on one of the trunk rounds. And I stood there mesmerized. I've never seen such a beautiful butterfly. I've seen monarchs and yellow ones, but not this. And seeing that beautiful butterfly reminded me, look at the delicacy of that. A storm came through here and ripped things to pieces. And here's this butterfly, a survivor, allowing me to get a glimpse of it for a minute. And the butterfly flutters by. Michael pays attention. I drive with my eyes open. I look at little things like that. And they cause me to pause and think deeper. It gave me a flicker of hope that we're in this dark world, but we can see moments of beauty, or a kind act that somebody does, or a kind word that somebody says. As you can tell, I hate Colorado. I didn't like the guy from Ouray, and I heard that town sucked. The boys just fight. They all think they're tough. Why would I want to live in a mining town? I did in Hibbing, Minnesota. Scary people. Scary. They beat their women up there. They drink. A lot of the women up there in northern Minnesota Those towns are not the prettiest to behold. And many of them, because of the abuse they went through with the men, were looking for clandestine, lesbian, little trysts. And I've lived and seen enough to realize why people do certain things. And even me, I bear in my body the scars of growing up in a dysfunctional home. I'm still dysfunctional. I don't know if I could ever be married. I'm attracted to women, or women, but marriage. When you get married, the devil is going to come after you so hard. And my mind isn't pure. If it's not pure now, why is it going to be pure then? And I look back at the fallacies I believed when I married my wife for 14 years. I met her at the laundromat on a Saturday. I didn't find her particularly pretty. I just started talking to her. Five weeks later, I married her. I didn't even allow a proper dating period to get to see that if I'd extended that another couple months, I would have seen enough and said, nope. And we blame God for stuff. Even one day we had a big old disagreement. She said, why would God allow me to be in another bad marriage? And I looked her in the eye and I said, well, you made a choice to marry the first one. You made a choice to marry me. And you're calling it a bad marriage. I didn't do what your ex-husband did. I didn't beat you. I didn't drink. I didn't have affairs. You got to take responsibility that maybe we went too fast to the altar and admit it. And I do. And I see that we are not two peas in a pod. And I look at women, I look at blacks, and I look at Democrats, and I look at people. Everybody want to blame everybody but themselves. I'm sick of it. Even in my white female culture, so many women love playing the victim card. They love, oh, I was in an abusive relationship. Oh, they love to talk about it and go on and on and on and on and on and on. And you can always tell when a man's no good when he says, oh, I wouldn't do what he did. You're a simp, knock it off. Now the guy at work is on again with this wallflower. Friday was his birthday. I said, I thought you weren't coming in today. He goes, no, I figured we got a 3-day weekend. He said, well, it's official. I said, what? Her and I. And I said, really? He goes, we talked. She was in an abusive relationship. I said, be careful. Almost every woman out there claims that. No, but she was. I saw the proof. Clickbait, man. Woman tells you they're in an abusive relationship. You be polite. Proceed no further. When they're wearing that and that's their sandwich board out when you're meeting them, go find another woman. We've all been through crap. And I'm not minimizing what women have been through, but when I go on a date, I don't say, well, I had an abusive mommy. I don't put that out there. It'll come up in time. But women that put that out there right away, run. You're going to be dating a victim. You're going to look at everything you do and say And as soon as you do anything that was anything remotely similar to him, watch out. This is what you're going to, oh my gosh, you are just like my ex. I am? Yeah, you said that word the same way he does. Na 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 in the twilight zone. Na 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 na. Oh boy. One word and I'm just like her ex. Those are what I call microscope relationships. He's got out the microscope, you're in the petri dish. Men, stop dating women where you're in the petri dish being observed. Be in the driver's seat of this relationship or don't be in it. And what I mean by that is that why is it that men have to measure up to the women and women don't have to measure up to us? Bible says, I will make a helpmeet or a helper suitable to him. And now society is so screwy that we have to approach women like a false deity where we're dragging our knees and coming before the throne going, please accept me, God. America is a simp nation. Simpville. It took me moving overseas. It took me years of life to watch this, and it's true. I look at the community down here. Black girl after black girl follows the same pattern recognition. Get knocked up by a black guy, get pregnant, run back home, live with mommy, no job. I don't know who's paying for the new car. I don't know who's paying for this, but probably my taxes. And why do these women keep following and handing that baton to each other? I don't know. But I admit to you, my viewers, I don't think I could be married. Because I'm man enough to admit that you are not going to look 110% every day where you're so awesome that all I think about are your eyes only. I can't do it. You know, when you scuba dive, you don't go down there and go, I just want to look at sea anemones. You're going to see all kinds of stuff down there. And women have the same problem we do, folks. Don't kid yourself. They act like we're pigs, so are they. They want attention from all us men. They don't want anything to do with us. They just want to register a pulse. They just want me to say, oh, you're so beautiful. Really? Really? You think so? Yeah, you know what you're doing, honey bunches of oats. Every Filipina I talk to, every single one. I say, you're pretty. No, I'm not pretty. Really? I think I'm bangit, which means ugly. Is that why you dress the way you dress? Is that why you got your midriff showing and you got your hoochie nanny showing? I don't believe that at all. People who have a bad view of themselves aren't showing nothing. I remember I was at a hair salon in the Aurora Mall years ago. I was married to my crappy 14-year relationship. I went to get a haircut and she went into Macy's or whatever the store was. And a Japanese woman did my hair, and she talked. She said she had a young girl and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't hit on her because I was married. So I didn't ask questions. The next time I came in there, she was very nice. And I noticed she was very gentle on my head. My ex come in there and she goes, Mike, I'm going to be in this store as I'm done that. I said, okay. When I'm done, I'll find you. As soon as she left, the Japanese lady said, who's that? I said, that's my wife. Oh, you married? Yes, ma'am. Then I feel bump and bang and pull, and I'm sitting there going, I failed to even notice she had an interest in me, thought I was single. Because I didn't have a ring. And I didn't have a ring because I did a lot of hard work and I'd end up destroying the thing. I'm not smart enough to take the ring off when I'm moving rocks and stuff around. It's funny, when you're married, all these women want you. When you're single and available, the same don't. And that leads me into the segue for the next piece on this is marriage. Women and men, you should not be on social media if you're married. Men having their Facebook, wives having their Facebook, men having girlfriends in there. In 2020, I can remember the stats. I think it was 6,300 marriages ended up in the trash can simply because of Facebook in a year. People you might know. You want to know what school, and they want to hook you up to everybody from your past. Oh, Michael, I found you again. Oh, gosh, here comes the Black Widow spider from hell. Yeah, hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Oh, let me see. You weren't interested in me in school. Now you're interested in me because you're penniless and broken and got 5 babies. Bye! Go buy a school bus. I'm not the driver. I'm not part of this show. When you're married, you cannot be friends with the opposite sex and say that it's okay. People will disagree with me that. I say, bull crap. Man's supposed to leave his mother and father and cleave unto his wife. It's 2026 America. But Mike, I have a lot of male friends. Well, your husband should be your friend. What do you need all these other dudes for? Oh my gosh, I can't believe Mike's saying this. Get with the times. Yep, when you have a wrinkle in your relationship, you got all these fallback boys. And that goes for men. That goes for men. Facebook, I called it years ago flirt bug. That's really what it is. Facebook and social media has become a dating site. Mob Rules, one of my moderators, believed that I would find a girlfriend through my YouTube. I did too. I really did. Now, not so convinced. A woman kept looking at me at the flea market yesterday, and I'd look and she smiled, and I'm like, I still believe where you traffic, your day-to-day, that's where you need to be looking. The online world is smoke and mirrors. You don't get to smell the bad breath and the body odor. You know, you just don't. The internet is smoke and mirrors. A woman is worth far more to me right here locally than one who's 800 miles away. The women overseas can be very manipulative. I told the woman, we can't have a relationship. You're too young. Well, you just got to have faith. Oh, I do. I got to have faith. I got to come visit you. I got to pay for the immigration. No, honey. That's not a helpmeet. That's a Costco. That's a big cost. I got to pay. I got to initiate. I got to chase you. I got to prove that we have a relationship to the INS. That's so stupid. And it was an older Hispanic woman. The couple I was talking to from Fiji Islands. I said, man, she keeps looking at me. I said, she's pretty. I noticed that. I noticed she's watching you. I said, I never even noticed her before. He said, she needs boyfriend. I said, oh, she's single. Yes. She said she don't want to date anybody because she's been through bad relationships. And I said, huh, but she's looking at me. He goes, yeah. So when I left, I made sure and made eye contact. She looked at me and I smiled. She smiled and I said, hola, ¿cómo está? Bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Bien. She lit up. And I walked off. Michael doesn't cling. Drop a little taste of honey and do it again next week. I find that being cool about things works. And then my mind started thinking, I never considered a Mexican woman. I could tell by looking at her she was my age. That she probably doesn't endorse the marijuana and the getting drunk. A lot of Mexican women are very faithful to their men, especially when they know they're loved. And sometimes I feel like maybe I haven't been looking in the right spot. I haven't dated Hispanic per se. I dated a Nicaraguan woman. That was a whole other story in Spokane. Woo, baby, was that a trip. She was welling down the chest, and we're driving along the Spokane River from Bowling Pitcher, and she whips her top off in the truck. Golf course on the left, whitewater rafting on the right, lots of traffic. I said, what are you doing? You don't like it? I said, I do, but I don't want to get pulled over. Is it against the law to drive in your vehicle naked? Somebody can answer that for me. I hated getting rid of that red Ford. That had so many awesome memories. The beautiful Nicaraguan woman with her top off, and I'm just like, good word. They talk about distracted driving. Well, there you go. I said, Marlene, put your shirt on. Michael, you don't like? I said, I love it, but I don't need to crash, and you're going to get us a ticket. Naughty. My life has not been boring. It hasn't been successful, but it hasn't been boring, that's for sure. And I look at people. If I think somebody's cute, I talk to them. Just like my cousin says, you like somebody, just talk to them. And the more they just talk, the more you realize they got too many layers going on in their life. I couldn't deal with all that. I don't even tell them that. You just listen. I'm glad they revealed that. They got too much. I got all these kids and I got all these cats and they're having kittens and she's going on about the kittens and, the kittens are getting into this. And I'm like, that's too much. There's no peace in that. All that in my house would just stress me. That's not a helpmeet. That's a hindrance. That's a liability. Insurance risk. don't care where we are in life, there's always grass is greener over there syndrome. My gosh, I wrestle with it. Paul says, are you married? Seek not to be loosed. Are you single? Seek not to be married. The Bible talks about something that our corporate world doesn't teach us about. It's called contentment. Corporate America is not interested in contentment. Do you know why? Because contentment doesn't sell crap. They want you dissatisfied. Why do you think people buy new hoopties all the time? Because they want to show off. They like the adrenal burst that it gives them. Oh, I love your new car. You mean the debt that goes with it? Come on. Why are we so stupid? It's a dang good question. I don't know. That's why I like storms. They remind me of something. There's something bigger than us. Life goes on. You grow up in a place like LA, some place that never sees stuff like that. You know, if you're living in Beverly Hills 90210, you're not paying attention to Jack. You're paying attention to the world. And a storm is God's way of saying, yes, Michael, I'm here, and I'm here every day, but you're so caught up in your world that you aren't paying attention, so I thought I'd give you a show. God is always doing things to get our attention. Are we listening? Look at that beautiful bloom. That's so peaceful. You hear the pigeon cooing? Living in a city sucks. You don't hear that. You don't hear that in a big city. Dang parasites. Hate mosquitoes. Draining my whole arm. I love to talk about this little thing. This was not even 2 feet tall. There's a sprig by the front door and I kept stepping on it. A couple of years ago, I decided to transplant it. Literally within a few weeks of transplanting, this thing started to explode. Better soil. And I realized that about me and us. If we're not in good soil, we'll grow and we'll maintain, but we won't flourish. Sometimes we're in a world and it's hard to flourish because of the crap we've been through, the stony ground that we walk on. I need good soil, even for my growth. And even the outdoors in the backyard can teach you profound things about God if you listen. The birds don't get up in the morning and start fussing. They start singing. We drag our carcass out of bed and I gotta go to work today. The birds got it right. They don't worry. They just sing. And we fuss. I fuss. I complain. We all do. I'm gonna have welts all over my legs, but I wanted to hear the birds. This thing is so cool. Just sitting on top of that. Raindrops stuck to the spines on these things. Pigeons are cooing, birds are chirping, and all's at peace out there. Is there peace inside of us? Sometimes no. The Bible talks about the cares of this life weighing us down. Love is hard. I don't always know what it is, but I know what it isn't. People that told me over the years they love me, disproved by their actions. They didn't know what love meant. Wow, does it smell wet out here? Too many bugs out. Too many mosquitoes. Boy, they're feasting on this wetness. All these puddles and they're breeding like rabbits. No good. I want to thank everybody last night that came to chat. We had some cool forked lightning and some thunderclaps and good discussion. It was fun. It's interesting. Life teaches me a lot. And sometimes we fail to realize there's a real blessing in being alone. When you're with somebody, that relationship tends to get in the way of actual learning and growing and developing inner strength that God wants us to have. People that get needy and clingy, the relationships are going to turn to powder. You have to grow and be strong alone. You have to realize your aloneness and realize you need a helper. But too many people want a mommy. I don't want a mommy. I'm like the baby on Dinosaur. I want to hit everybody over the frying pan. The head with the frying pan. Not the mama. I don't need a mama. I had one once. She let me go. The other one was abusive. I don't want a third. I do need a father. And God's already filled that role. But my view of father is colored and tainted because we think of earthly fathers. And they don't always represent God. And we cannot view God the way we view people around us. Somebody could look in on my life and say, oh, I don't believe in Christianity because Michael's wearing a woman's shirt. Okay, go to hell because I'm wearing a shirt. That makes a lot of logical sense. Go enjoy the lake of fire for eternity because I'm wearing a woman's shirt. No, they're not rejecting the truth because of this. They're finding an excuse. There's a woman that sat in this house. She took her clothes off one night and I was on her. White woman. She's older than me. She's very good looking. She's dating somebody and she said, I'm not happy. I said, why don't you date me? Why don't you? Well, because you're going to go after somebody younger. I'm getting older. I said, really? She kept coming to work and pulled up at the pumps and would kiss me right on the lips. I said, why do you do that? I got to go, Michael. Have a good day. I said, why do you do that? I said, why do you stay with this man? Because he gives me things, Michael. He just paid the bill on my vehicle to be repaired. I said, so it's not really based in love. Well, I love him. Oh, but you haven't had sex in years and you flirt with me. Why do you do that? You ask too many questions, Michael. I gotta go. Women do that in our culture. I don't know why they do that. A guy talked about John Griffin has a channel on YouTube and he's been through a bitter divorce. He walks his 3 dogs in the Virginia woods. He's not wrong in what he says, but he talks about monkey branching. Women will grab on to a branch, but their arm is looking for another. They'll grab onto you if you're all they can get, but they're always looking for a better branch to climb on. And because of what I've been through with my mother and stuff, I believe, and I'm naive, but yet in the back of my mind I go, don't trust all these women. It takes a long time to establish trust for either sex. And I find myself, I want to date white women. I've been open, but I've seen a pattern. So now I look at, so if a Mexican woman who's older is interested in me, I haven't done that. She'll have her own sets of baggage, but she won't have the baggage that I'm used to that's redundant and cyclical and ridiculous. And then there's that part of me that says, can I love with absolute purity a woman till death do us part and never lust again? No. So what's the point of getting married if you're always going to battle that? I mean, my mind does think deep. It has to. I mean, Jesus said if a man looks at a woman with lust, he's already committed adultery. Does that mean because it says man and not a woman that women don't commit a shoot? Women committing adultery with their mind just as much as we are. It's just that men get the lion's share of the blame. And I know somebody wants me to keep saying every time I say something, not all women are like this, just most. Most men are like what I describe, bad. You know, I'm honest. I mean, I don't think I'm God's gift to society. Not at all. But you have to be careful. It is 2026. Our society has had a seismic shift since 1966 when I came into this world. And you have to tread carefully. And over 50% of marriages are ending up in the trash can. And we date and mate and date and mate. And this guy at work is dating this wallflower girl who's very much younger than him. 22-year age difference. And I'm starting to see that. I said, you know, you're 48, she's 26. And I wrote 48, 26, and I did the subtraction. I said 22, and I circled it. He goes, I know. I said, no. You're 22 years above her. She doesn't even have your knowledge or your experiences yet. Be aware of that. My belief is this thing is not going to last. And what's really funny, and this is, I had a talk with a friend of mine. William and Dana were what I call an impeccable couple. Dana was Swedish, she had blonde hair, blue eyes, slender, small. She was a 10. William was he could have been on GQ magazine. They had horses, they lived in Parker, Colorado. They befriended my then wife and I at church in the city when I went there and worked there. And he and I were talking about lust. I said, let me get this straight. You got a drop dead gorgeous wife and you still lust? He goes, yes, I do. I said, you know what works for me? Is I try to find the flaw in the woman and the lust diminishes. He says, I do the same thing. And I looked at this young lady. She doesn't do anything for me anyway. She's too skinny. She's too skinny. And pencil thin girls, there's a persona that goes with that that's ugly. And I was looking at her the other day and she had this dark velvet. Wow, she's already got little testosterone coming on that upper lip. And I'm not being rude, I'm not. But I'm just like, nah, no. I don't want to be dating a woman that's got hair on her lip at 26 years old. Mustache. Just each his own. I just sit back with the bucket of popcorn and he tells me how things go or don't go. I thought, this isn't going to work. You got kids. She's got 4 little kids. Instant family. Blended families. No. She's not black. I don't know what she is, but I can tell by her hair she's definitely not African. I'm like, ooh. And I chased Asian woman. And I'd learned about culture and language barrier and what I've learned over the years that has taught me more than anything else is I may not understand language, but I learned the language I can interpret easily, bade. And most people are not versed in that. I can look at women. I had a discussion with my friend Tony in Cleveland. I call it the 2-second, but it's not even 2-second. It's more like a nanosecond. White women do this. When I'm out there in public, they do this. They go, they look at you, and in that immediate second, their database goes like Kit Kat. Boom, no. They've made an assessment of me and you that quick. I went by my church yesterday running errands. The teen girls were out on the sidewalk. They had something going on over there. I have family and all that, so I don't involve with all that. Teenagers were holding up a sign. They looked frumpy and grumpy. The dour faces, you could tell. I thought, wow, what a great advertisement for our church. Standing out there and it's humid, about to rain again. God bless our pastor, he tries. I don't want to deal with teens. I cannot stand moody teen girls. They justify it excuse it, rationalize it. Were they like that in the 1800s, the 1700s? They weren't, because they weren't put up with to do that. And it seems like kid culture is so dominant out there. And you go back a long time ago, children would be seen and not heard. I kind of like that. I kind of want to go back to that. And I worked with teens. I don't want nothing to do with kids. Nothing. That's why kids come on this channel, I'm like, out. I did my tenure. But as an adult, as a Christian, men and women, how do we deal with that libido? The Bible says fornication. What a word. Who came up with fornication, masturbation? What is masturbation? Who came up with that? This big, complex masturbation. Who came up with that? What's a stupid word? We changed that in school, spanking the monkey, choking the chicken. Oh yeah, spanking the monkey. Who spanks monkeys? Where did that come from? Pocket pool. The terminologies and phrases. But as a Christian, how do we, I've been around all kinds of Christians. Those eager beaver guys that get up in your face that got the bad breath. You come into church and you just kind of want to be quiet and get into the presence of God. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Is God blessing you this week? Yeah, until you breathed in my face. Wait, Mike, you got to crucify the flesh, Mike. Well, let me know when you've done it, bro. Oh, I hate all that. Car salesmen, Christians. Bossy Christians. I don't know what it is about me, my young looks, the way I am. Men feel the need to put their arm around me and want to control me. Why? I don't want to control some other guy in charge. I don't want to control nobody. I don't want to control no woman. I like machine. I like driving a stick shift. I like holding the shifter, the steering wheel, and being one. Going down that road. I don't want to control people. People are yucky. They're like herding cats. Have you ever herded turtles or cats? It cannot be done. Try to herd cats. Pond was in her backyard in Pennsylvania, and the squirrel must have been hot. Legs kicked out, belly flat on the grass. And she's filming it on the short. Go check it out. That's funny. I hate squirrels, but it was a cute little video. How do you deal with lust? How do you get rid of it? I was looking, and I don't encourage you to do this because it's R-rated, but Magdalene St. Michael is a porn star. Many of you women would look, you're going to go run and look, see what Michael's talking about. I know you are. She's older now, but she was, to me, she's a woman. She's a little bit bigger, got a little bit of hips. I have to say she's a knockout to me. She doesn't have that 10 face or that facial structure, but I was looking at her yesterday, I was going, man, I would love to lay down on that woman and just ravish her. As I get older, I'm changing. I've always been after those little petite sweeties, and I've noticed something. And it even proves itself out on my channel. It proves itself out in every state I lived in. It proves itself overseas. The more petite a woman, the more high maintenance they are, the more problematic they are. You get a woman with a little bit more cushion on her. I'm not talking fat or obesity. Oh my gosh, are they lovers? When Linda came over here, it built a little bit like Magdalene. And I told her, I said, you keep saying how much older you are to me, but you are good looking. That kind of woman makes me want to have sex with a woman. These petites, I just want to feel them up and make out, but I don't want to have sex. I don't go through all that. I'm honest. I talk about this. I'm not a prude. I've been around the block. Not once, not twice. Man, I took my big wheel and wore the plastic tires out on the block. And even when the tires were worn out, we're going around the block, still trying to pedal the thing. I was one of those kids. My front tire blew out on my bike, my Huffy with the shock absorber. I took my sister's banana seat bicycle, rammed the forks between the back of the banana seat with the hoop bar. I said, all right, Gina, get on your bike and ride. You're pulling a trailer. She says, oh my gosh, what'd you do? Bike. I said, it's a bicycle built for two. Now get on and drive. So I'm pedaling the back tire. She has a 1-speed bike and so do I. Oh my gosh, I can't even pedal this. You're too heavy. I said, pedal, girl. Oh, we were bad kids. People driving down the road. Man, those two kids are weirdos. What the hell are they doing? We were the misfit family, the misfit everything. But at least I had fun trying. They had those long bamboo poles they put in the snow to mark the propane tank because we got so much snow in Mammoth. Skelgas could see the pole sticking out, dig down and hook up and fill the propane tank. That had to be a fun job. Dig through 20 feet of snow to get to the propane tank. Fill it and drag that hose back to the truck. That had to be a ball. And I took one of those bamboo poles, like 15 feet long, wired it into the banana seat on the bike, and I'd drive and that pole would be snapping behind the bike. And I'd be hitting stuff with it, snapping stuff. And yeah, you know, when you're a kid and you're left unattended, we invented things. Morrison Construction had a huge telehandler forklift, big tires. A bunch of us neighborhood kids were on Pinecrest Avenue, way at the top of the steep hill. And I had a bicycle tire fully inflated with the rim. I said, watch this. And that thing went flying down that hill. Down at the bottom, there was an intersection. Morrison Construction, the giant forklift went by and the tire went right between the front and the rear wheels, and we're laughing, oh my gosh, oh, that thing just about hit it. And the tire was truck. I never did find the tire. I don't know where it ended up. Oh my gosh. You don't see kids doing that anymore. I had fun. I was teased at Mammoth Elementary. We had a big tractor tire, about this tall. Little me had all I could do to get that thing up and tip it up. And I'd start rolling it. And the kids made fun of that. Look at Mike playing with the tire. You know, and I wasn't bold then. I was afraid. I wish I had what I had. I'd say, and what does that have to do with you? I want to play football with you morons. You're stupid. I like rolling a tire. I like trucks. Leave me alone. That was the way kids were. They didn't leave people alone. I'd be on another end of the playground. They'd find me and harass me. They do that on the internet. They do that on the highways. I call Denver asshole culture. Denver is truly the definition of asshole culture. Go into a store in Colorado. White women love to do this. Here's the aisle going this way, okay? They go down the aisle. You're coming towards them, you know, right lane, left lane, like you drive, you walk the same. And it never fails that a white woman would suddenly veer to go right in front of me and look at me and make me go around her. Or the classic white woman Colorado move is, let's turn the shopping cart sideways, let's stick our butt 3 feet this way and block the whole aisle as we're digging around in our purse. I'm not making this crap up. I've seen some weird shit in my life. Or you go through a line to get your food, your groceries, and it's always women. They got their big old bowling ball bag of a purse up there, rummaging through it. Remember when they used to fill out the check? 20 minutes later, oh wait, you need my license? Dig, 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 dig. 20 minutes later. Then the lady's ringing my stuff up and they're spending an additional hour with their butt in the way, and I can't get up to put in my thing in the phone, you know, showing I'm a valued customer and get the discounts, and they're just in the way. And I want to go, move your butt. Oh my gosh, you've hogged the register, and you've got all these people, move it. I can't stand that about women. And church, they're the worst. White women. One way out of the building. Oh, hi. How are you, Gertie? I'm good. Excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. Move! Oh, I just want to cut loose. Why do they do that? Women are from Venus, all right. And I have a penis. And we're attracted to them. And that's the stuff that drives us nuts. This is why men and women go like this. I was on the DTA in Duluth. I knew the drivers because I drove school bus and I got to know the bus drivers. And this lady was in front of us, slams on the brakes, the bus slammed on the brakes, and the guy's name was Tex. He said, what a stupid woman. She slammed on the brakes for a damn squirrel. I said, yeah, I saw that. You know what we're taught, ladies, in a school bus? We're in the Colorado mountains. They said, if you see a deer and you're on the mountains, do not swerve the bus. Push the brakes. And if all you can do is take the deer, take it. Do not swerve the bus and go off the mountain or knock the guardrail off. Women, if a squirrel runs out in front of your car and you got a 40-foot diesel city bus behind you, run over the frickin' squirrel. Don't dynamite the brakes. You're dumb. You're dumb. I hated the mentality in Denver, especially Starbucks queens. SUV, liberal, pull around my bus in 4 lanes of traffic, race, cut 2 inches in front, move over, I honk, their skinny little white liberal finger comes out the window like this, and they jam on the brakes to turn into Starbucks. The kids on my bus, you should hear what came out of their mouth. You stupid white bee! And they're yelling. I said, don't yell out the windows, guys. Inside I'm going, ooh, they let her have it. Women, do you ever look at your damn selves? You look at us. Do you ever look at you? Do you ever analyze you? You don't like it when we criticize. You don't like it when we tell the truth. Get on YouTube and start paying attention to how many men are talking about you. Lots, because we didn't have a platform. You go and watch TV. They show the man in his chair with a bee. And the woman's, I got it, honey. Psh. I have never experienced that in my life. Every time I've seen a woman with a bee, they're like, what is the problem? A bee. It's not a bee, it's a wasp. Calm down. Where is it? I saw that on the bus. The girls are screaming and the boys were screaming on a high school route. I said, man, what's going on? There's a bee, mister. I stop, pull the brake, get up. I didn't have my route book. I use that to slap wasps. I said, where is it? You guys need to calm down so it stops buzzing, okay? It's right there. I see it on the flat of the window and I go, oh my gosh, he just did it with his bare hands. Yeah, because I didn't get stung. And then I turned around and looked at the boys and said, how y'all going to go to the prom with these girls when you're all scared? And then the girls started laughing. Yeah, you cowards. Ha ha ha. I gaslit my own kids sometimes and it worked in my favor every time. I gaslight them good. Blow up that Coleman bag. Especially when it was to my favor. I had to learn to do that to survive out there. What is wrong with women in Colorado? Let's pull out in front of a semi-truck that's going 55. And don't hurry up to get out of the way and get up to speed. And the truck, whoa, whoa. And the woman's got her finger out the window. I believe in population control. And it's women like that, I wish God would just remove them from the earth and put them on another planet, because they are a problem. And there's a lot of them. And most of them happen to be white. So I talk about blacks, but I talk about whites. There are problems. And every time I talk to a white woman that I'm attracted to, there's some things that show up that are triggers every time. I'm like, nope, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. And that's why I got attracted to foreign women, because there's more mystery, more exotic, things that I don't know. Our culture has become cookie cutter, like Pillsbury cookies that you freeze, you cut off the ends, you pull it out, and you go press on a cookie sheet, voila, cookies. I used to make my ex-wife cookies to take to work, and not the roll-up kind, the real ones. The recipe, Nestle's Toll House chocolate chips and the butterscotch chips. The girls were like, wow, your husband made these? You got a good man. That's another thing. A woman at the flea market said, yeah, my boyfriend's lucky to have me. And I just went, whatever. It's funny. Single women don't hug me. It's the ones that are taken hug me the most. Why is that? And they press their kahunas into my chest. Happily married? What's going on? Because even women that are married want and love and crave and scream for all of us attention. That's a weird thing. So why be married to a wife who's going to be virtue signaling every guy out there? If I was attracted to her because she was scantily clad, she's going to continue to do that and be at work all day without me there, and all the guys are be going, dog, dog, dog. Take them to the dog catcher. Life is interesting. And I like to think, and I like to put these thoughts out here because we all need to think about this. How do you tread these waters? I love women, but women are not conducive today for a relationship beyond eye candy, maybe a dinner, and poof, that's it. I had a stupid middle school argument with one of my clown friends at Mammoth that I regret. It was really dumb. His dad had a boat that they went out on Lake Crowley and went fishing on. Just a fishing boat, nothing hot back in the 70s, 80s. He says, you're in the Titanic, but my boat could beat the Titanic. I said, so what, Derek? Your boat couldn't go across the Atlantic, And it might beat the Titanic for a few hours, and when it runs out of gas, the Titanic's still cruising on. I mean, you can't carry the people and the weight the ship did, so no comparison. I need a woman who can get across the ocean, not some cute little speedboat that goes rooster tails in the harbor. I still like ships. They're slower than small boats, but look at what they do. Look at how awesome they are. Now these women are using terms again. I remember a librarian when I brought my kid to Tuesday and Thursday story time at the Jefferson. Okay, crisscross applesauce. Now the women are saying awesome sauce. That's awesome. Why do white women come up with gay phrases? Oh, that's ginormous. Oh my gosh, welcome to Romper Room and Women. And I noticed all the commercials with nasally white women narrating the commercials got toddler music in the background. Free grocery store and adult play. Why are they gearing toddler music and nasally white women voices at me? I hit the radio on the truck. Done. I saw one commercial before Helene. You don't see it anymore, but for Biltmore up in Carolina, Biltmore State, male narration. It was a very quality commercial. I said, okay, analyzing commercials, that one is done well, the voice, everything. It makes you want to go there. These commercials that are put together by white females with the baby music, I almost bought a Show and Hut piano at the flea market. The guy wants too much money for it. He tried to tell me, well, it's this much on eBay. I almost said, dude, I got one for $5 a few years ago in Denver that sounded better than that. Whatever. You think your stuff is priceless treasures. It's there week after week, and you want $70 for it. The kids aren't buying them. Nobody's collecting them. I just wanted it for my YouTube channel so I can sit there and do the commercials. Gling, gling, gling. At King Soopers, gling, gling, gling. Chicken is $2.95 a bone. The meat, that's $800 a pound. I don't look at things the way everybody looks at things. That's why I have a following. We have content, and I don't create it because I didn't create it. I stress over things. Man, I got to remove that toilet to get back there. And I thought, nope, we're not removing the toilet. I'm not going through all that. We're going to cover the wall in increments. The texture is the thing that can hide the flaws. I'm not one of these guys that rips everything out and does it in 10 minutes. And if you ever look at the home improvement shows, always pay attention when the camera shuts off. They show the guys in there. That looks nice, Bob. How many times they stopped that video to get that room done? How many times did they stop the video and the guy's in there going, damn it, done, got it? Oh my gosh. Those shows are polished pizzazz, not reality. I find working on an old home is humbling, angering, rewarding, and frustrating. I wish I had a framed up house where everything was level, everything was new. I would have fun using it as a palette to create my little world. But when you're dealing with old imperfection, sag, things that aren't true anymore. Did you catch that? Did you catch the spiritual thing? When you build something, things are measured and level. As time goes by, wood sags, stuff moves, some contracts and expands. Same with us as Christians, same with us as a society. As our society and culture is contracting and expanding, there's stresses and strains put on it that it was never intended for. We as Christians aren't as godly as those before us 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago. There's a general decay that takes place in humanity with each passing of the baton. I see it in me. I see it all around us. It's in you. Many of the things that you and I embrace today would never be tolerated 100 years ago. My female viewers, I've got to write a note and remember to ask my pastor, and I'm going to tell him about my channel. He knows I have a channel. And say, people are legitimizing Christians, medicinal marijuana. Can you help me with that, Pastor? What is your take on that? I want to see what he says. Not because I need him to be my answer man, but I just want to see what he says. One thing I need to make clear to this channel, whether everybody agrees with me on an issue or not, is not my barometer for what I'm going to believe. First of all, if I have a conviction about something, to cross that conviction means I'm sinning. We're talking about stuff today that wasn't even on the table when Paul wrote the epistles. Jews were not smoking pot in Palestine at the time of Christ. Alcohol was a problem. Any culture, wine specifically. They didn't have beer. They had wine. So even though marijuana's been around, it was simply a plant. Only in later generations did people suddenly discovered, like poppies and other things, they can be manipulated and used to obtain a high. And does marijuana really help with pain, or is that just an excuse to get high? Questions I need to find answers for myself. But what does Scripture say? Scripture does not say thou shalt not smoke pot. It doesn't say thou shalt not smoke cigarettes. It doesn't say thou shalt not vape. It does say thou shalt not get a tattoo in the Old Testament. It does say you're not supposed to cut up your body. But what does it say about drugs? And the one verse comes to mind is the Bible verse that says, be not drunk with wine, but be filled with the Spirit. But I'm gonna update that, not update God, but I'm gonna use today's vernacular. Anything, whether it's your truck, your dog, your materialism, your gluttony, whatever you're doing had better not take precedence over your walk with God. And I find a lot of people defending the marijuana culture. I don't see a lot of Christian virtue in their life. Just saying. Just saying. Just my observation. I could be wrong. Just my observation. What did we do before medicinal marijuana was legalized with pain? What did the Jews do when they had liver and kidney failure back 2,000 years ago? Well, they died. Did they take anything for it? Medical science was nowhere near then what it is now. We didn't have MRIs and CAT scans and all that. And I want to be fair that when we draw conclusions, we need to base them on the word. And if the word is unclear, then we need to draw principles from Scripture. And so my big argument about pot is be not drunk with wine, but be filled with the Spirit. Now, let's be fair. Let's play devil's advocate against me. Am I always filled with the Spirit? No, sometimes I'm filled with abject lust. Sometimes I'm very angry. None of us is always full. Now, when we get saved, the Holy Spirit takes up residency. When we talk about fullness, we're supposed to be yielded to God in such a way, and I have a hard time with that. I am fighting Irish, but not just me. I don't care if you're German, Danish. I don't care if you're Chow or Pekinese or dog or whatever you are. We all have a will, and our will often fights God. Does anybody remember the gospel tract, the four? Have you heard the four spiritual laws? It was yellow or goldenrod color. And the four spiritual laws is showing a throne with you on it. And we need to take ourselves off of the throne and put Jesus there. The irony of the Christian life is we get saved. We want that forgiveness. We know we have guilt. But the lordship part, he became Lord. But we don't recognize that. I removed the plastic cover on the light. Like, where's the screws that mount this thing in the wall? One screw's holding it in. I pulled out the light bulbs. Okay, why is it stuck here? Did they use glue? Oh, wait. The wiring is behind that metal front. Squeeze it, pull it out. Ah, there's a screw. Unscrew and the thing slides. And I systematically started, and I could see the stud where I'd knocked the sheetrock off from before, held the level and drew a straight line and said, just cut right there. Score it with a knife so it doesn't break to the left of the stud. We're going to just fuse in the new stuff. It's what I love about texture. It's called forgiveness. Mud. Get your trowel and when you're done, nobody knows there's 4 pieces of material joined together. I'm learning to take things in increments. I need to pull the bathroom sink and gut the wall down behind the sink because it's crappy. But I don't want to do it now because once I pull that sink, the base is rotting. This is brilliance. This is American corporate brilliance. We're going to talk about the bonehead of corporate America. Let's build the vanity, the bathroom sink. Let's build it out of particle board, very heavy crap. Let's put a thin veneer over it. And over time, water and moisture hitting that, the veneer wears off. And when that stuff gets wet, it's like a sponge. It goes. If you chip it, it breaks. Why would you make something exposed to moisture and water holding a sink out of particle board? And have you seen the price? Let me show you this little itty bitty thing that holds up my sink. I got a problem with society because society is gay. And I'm not meaning homosexual. They're just gay. This is the vanity. Look at it. I took my trowel and scraped this even. This pillowed out. Look down here. Allow me to show you what's happening. See that? That's because the tub water, you're washing and it slashes and this is dumb. Let's put this right up against the tub. What I really want is a wrought iron painted stand that I can mount to the wall where you can see and clean the floor. This is stupid. This is called ghetto flooring. Use weather stripping or, whatever you call this by your door and put it there instead of changing and laying the tile all in. And then, oops, I forgot to cut it right, so let's throw a piece in there. That wasn't me. Stuff is hideous. What are you going to put on your floors? Nothing. Bleach them, leave them be. Next person that buys, they can carpet it, paint it, wood it up. I hate those snap together floors. Gay, they're expensive. They don't work as easy. You get to the end, something's off. No. Garage floor paint, people. Go into a room, go to the farthest end of the room, paint it, walk out, shut the door, and let it set. You can throw an area rug in there. I'm not doing all this. It's a $30,000 house. I'm not going to put so much in it. We have to be careful as Christians. We have to be careful as Christians. A lot of churches, a lot of people want to tell us to get on this treadmill of fatalism. Got to crucify the flesh, Mike. You got to fight. You got to fight. You got to constantly. Man, I'm tired. I go to work and I fight just to get through the day. Pull these orders, pack this, lift up this. I'm tired. And Paul says, I run the race. Those things don't encourage me. I struggle with that because I work hard as it is. Now I got to work hard at crucifying my lust. How do you take your lust and put it on the cross? You can't do that. It's nonsense. And we listen to this Christian vernacular and it doesn't work. Throw it out. Confess your sins to God. Say, God, I can't crucify this beast within. I can't. That's what we need to say. But now we got all these Christian DIY books. The bookstores were full of that stuff in the 80s. Christianity is not a do-it-yourself thing. We need the prayers of the saints. We need the encouragement and the love of the saints. We need God. We need the Holy Spirit. This idea that you're going to run out there with your Christian axe and chop up your flesh and be totally holy is nonsense. It doesn't work. And what is it about Christian men at church? They're either cantankerous crabs arguing, or they want to control me. Hey, Michael, welcome to our church. You get in a small group? No, I'm not into. Well, you really need to be. I go to work, and I come to church, and I'm not involved in all this other. Well, if you want to grow, how about if you stop pushing this on me? I don't know you, and I already don't like you. Stop being a used car salesman. I don't need the used car. What I need is growth, and you're not going to make that happen, sales dude. First of all, I have to want something. And one of the things I've done on my channel is I want to wear this, so I'm going to. Well, Mike, that's not Christ-like. Did you know that most of what we do is not Christ-like? Did you know when you put a key in the door of an F-150, that isn't Christ-like? Jesus didn't drive a truck. He didn't use a microwave oven. He didn't have the furnace guy come. Just about everything we do isn't Christ-like. Mike, come on. No, you come on. God doesn't change. Fashion changes. Technology changes. What we got to look at is the core. How do I treat people? How do I treat my job? Do I take care of what God's given me? Do I try to improve my yard and my house? Yes. Do I try to treat people right? Do I try to live at peace with people? Yes. Hey, I'm doing pretty good. You go to Denver, people on the roads play games. They see a bus. Women are notorious in Colorado for this. They see the school bus loaded with kids coming on an on-ramp at already high elevation. I got to get my speed up to match the speed of traffic so I can merge in. Those good women out there, they'll speed up and block you. They're so nice out there. I noticed in Colorado, men are more likely to let me in, will flash the high beams at me. Women, nope, I'm not going to let him in. I'm going to do my low power trip. Those are miserable biatches. Women that do that really have no control in their lives. So now they're going to play car power trips. I learned a lot through Windshield University. Enrollment is free, and I got paid. People are stupid. So when we talk about crucifying the flesh, how many Christian women do you know are biatchy? They have no conviction about that. Zero. They're rude, they look down their nose at everybody, and then they'll judge us men for lust. Okay, lust is a natural outflow of my biology, but you being a nasty person, that's not okay ever. That's not ladylike, it's not Christ-like, it's rude. And you notice these teen girls can be like that all day long because society lets them get there. They excuse it and they justify it. And that's why we're raising a generation of narcissistic, self-entitled women. It's all through our culture. And we men are trying to find a date with those kinds of women. And then we wonder why it doesn't work. Ha! It's broken to begin with. What were you thinking? You're going to go to the store and buy a broken, you see that it's broken, you're going to buy it? But we do that with relationships. Oh, but she's cute. Oh, we're into salvaging. I got you. You know, the only thing I'm into salvaging is like, I'd like to go to Bangladesh. They pull up these ships to break them up. It's brutal. No ocean, no protection. They got kids with acetylene torches cutting sections of ship and watching it fall down onto the beach. It's crazy. Very dangerous work. They got this huge store with brass pinnacles and everything shippy. I'd love to have a brass porthole with a thick glass. Stuff fetches high dollar. But when we look at a person as a salvage, ooh. I love the Titanic. But if you were to actually be able to pull the bow section up out of the water, the minute that bow hits that oxygen, the rust is going to go like wildfire. To get that rust off, to preserve that, you can't do it. We have to realize as a Christian that all of us, there are some things in us that may be too far gone, that it's going to take an act of God to remove from our life. So if you're broken and dysfunctional and you're going after another woman thinking you are going to have harmony, guess again. And I'd rather rub one out at the thought, though lust is not encouraged by God, than to get twisted up in a relationship, my money, my energy, my time, for something that goes poof. Just saying. Just saying. And I've got a long way to grow. We all do. I go to church for one reason. is not for fellowship. It is not for potlucks. I can't even eat most of what the Southerners eat. No offense to the South, but they eat a lot of crappy fried artery plugging crap down here. The South is not known for good quality healthy food. Lots of obesity, lots of health issues down here. And if you want to see the way people treat handicaps, let me give you an example of myself. I made mention of this about my glasses. I've had pretty women tell me the seemingly nice compliment that goes, what the heck? Mike, you look way better without glasses. You should get contacts. I get so tired of that. Next time I say, you gonna buy them? No. Well then. And I can't wear them. My prescription's too strong. I had an eyeglass doctor tell me that. Plus, my eyes are very sensitive. I'm really not good with trying to put something touching my eyeball. So no. You're going to go up to a man in a wheelchair, you'd look much better without that wheelchair. You'd look much better without that fake leg. But allergies is a whole different way of discrimination. I've had white women to my face. Mike, you want, oh, that's right. Mike can't eat anything. do you know there's a reflex in me that wants to just go, psh. Really? So, Mike, how come you don't do anything? Most of the restaurants have crap. So I don't go out. There's a few I go to. And I don't go because it's gotten expensive. Why? I've experienced many levels of rudeness. And when it comes to food allergies, people just make fun of it. I remember a Christian man, a deacon in the church. It was the only flaw I saw in him, and it really bothered me. He's a man I respected. I rode with him one day up the North Shore of Duluth. And he knew I had food allergies. And he pulled something out of his lunch. He goes, oh, that's right, you can't eat this. And he's looking at me and he went, yum. It's too bad you can't eat this, Mike. Guess what? Even Christians can have an asshole side. And it hurts. People say sticks and stones may break my bones, names will never hurt. That's not true. People hurt us deeply. Body language. Women are really good at that. When I wake up in the morning, I'm a royal bee. My ex-wife was good at that one. I would start off every day. His mercies are new every morning. She'd come into the kitchen, I'd say, one morning I said, good morning. No response. I said, did you hear me? I said, good morning. I said, good morning. No, you did not. Yes, I did. You did not answer me. I was looking right at you, and now you're responding to me with the wrath of Khan. Then people wonder why I left her after 14 years. This woman to this day still talks to people about Michael. Never was honest about her crap. I left her. She never said Michael left me because he couldn't stand me. He got tired of my bullshit. Yeah, that. If you actually said that, I'd get down on my knees and say, praise God, hallelujah, you finally said the truth. I left you because of your bullshit. I couldn't deal with your bullshit. If I want to open up a manure factory, cool, but I don't. It stinks. And I, as a man, admit there are certain things. And when you divorce, and each time you divorce, it gets easier. I don't want to get married. It'll just go in the trash can like they all do. I'm man enough to admit, a lot of women that look really pretty, you could marry them and a year later their body could go down the toilet. And then we're going to face condemnation for lusting. Well, I can't get a boner for you anymore, honey. These that were up here are all the way down here. You lift up your armpit and it's lunch lady arms. You look like grandma. I can't get into that. I hate the curse that is in me. I hate lust. It'll never be satisfied. No one woman can sate that. It's never going to die until God brings me into his glorious kingdom and I'm no longer in the flesh. And this is what Christians don't understand. Even my pastor believes that we can attain the spiritual perfection. I said, Pastor, I like your teaching, but I do not agree with you on that. I do not believe that. People like to quote Job. I've made a covenant with my eyes that I will not look at a woman with lust. Well, that's awesome. One man out of millions and millions that can't do it. He may have had low testosterone. Anybody talk about those issues? Women, especially white. I don't care if I ever have sex again. Those are the ones condemning men for lust. Those are the ones that the man married, they get sex once in 18 years and never again. That's called a bait and switch, and you'd have every reason to leave her sorry butt right where you left her or met her. Marriage is more than just finding animal instinct. You better be on the same page or it ain't going to work. And we're humans. Man, the devil is real. And our flesh is real. And I'm here to tell you, marriage is hard. But if you're married and you claim that your husband is the love of your life, stop forming relationships with me and single men and wanting to talk. Because my mind's going, something ain't right over here that they're talking to me. Does not mean I got designs on you. Does not. Again, back to body language. If I have a wife and she's my little doe and my little fawn, I will have no need to have all these women on a string that I call and chat with. That's an American phenomenon. The lies we teach ourselves. That Hollywood show, Friends. All that was total secular sin. I'm going to be honest. I've been exposed to a lot of culture. There's some things in me that are not Christ-like. For example, I have been alone for so many years. My sex drive has not evaporated or gone away. And I thought, you know what? If I had a woman that had a girlfriend and she wanted to be intimate with her, I wouldn't care. Michael, that's wrong. Of course it is. But I think it's hot. I think it's erotic, and I'd have no problem with that. I'm admitting that in our world, I didn't have a solid family. I married 3 times, 3 women. One of them was a foreigner. And they all had several things that lined up on a perfect straight line with each other. None of the 3 could ever admit when they were wrong. None of the 3 would ever say, I'm sorry. All 3 of them were moody. all three of them held on to grudges. Little shit. All three of them were exactly like my mom. James Dobson said something years ago. When boys don't have a good relationship with their mother, they will seek a mate. I never looked at my mother and said, I want to marry somebody who looks like her. And I did not. Freud was wrong. Freud said that we all desire to have sex with our mommy. I never looked at the mother who adopted me and thought, I want to hubba that. Now, her sister, which was my aunt, who was totally different than her, did not look like her, and I was not blood related. I lusted after my aunt all through middle school. We go inner tubing. She had on that black bra bathing suit, and I'm looking at my cousin going, I'm sorry, cousin, I cannot focus. Your mother is hot. Sharon was my favorite aunt. She was very good to me. If a Sharon walked into my life that looked like her to this day, with that head of hair and that body, oh, I'd be in paradise. Sharon was gorgeous. She was totally different than my mother. She was demonstrative. She was affectionate. And yet, those two women were the same. My mother was abusive to me, and my cousin is, to this day, struggling with bitterness. His mom's dead. He's very angry at what he went through with his mother. Very angry. My aunt treated me better than she treated her son. My mother treated my cousin better than she treated me. Do you remember Dear Anne, Dear Abby in the newspapers? They were advice columnists. Did you know that they're damn sisters? Did you know they couldn't get along with each other and hated each other? And they're giving advice to the world about how to get along and deal with conflict. Isn't that funny? Do you see what I'm getting at? We're all jacked. And somebody came into the room. Why are you wearing that? What the F are you wearing? And I said, if you have to ask me what I'm wearing, then you don't need to ask that question. It's called clothing. It's woman's clothing. No, it isn't. No woman ever wore it. I bought it. I put it on me. Boom. You want to play games? You want to judge me? It was never worn by a woman, so it's not woman's clothing. It's Michael's tough. Let's have fun. Shall we? Isn't it a woman's clothing only if she wore it? I'm being facetious, but I'm making a point too. What would it be like to date a man? I don't know. I don't want to find out. Men don't have those things that women are so desirable for. They're not soft. They're not sweet. They smell. They're hairy. They're sweaty. Women sweat too. And some of them are hairy and look like Bigfoot under the arms. That's nasty. Real nasty. So what is the answer? I notice as I get older, I'm just starting to embrace what is inevitable. Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Little Jack and Diane, two American kids doing best they can. That's me, doing the best I can. Long after the thrill of living is gone. I'm not suicidal. No, that's not it. If you want to go somewhere, you're going to have a lot of money. You want to experience all this cool stuff. What is there to experience in Augusta? Ooh, Let's go to the mall. Let's spend money for overpriced shit at a mall. Cool. No. Let's go drinking. Oh, boy, that sounds fun. I don't drink, so you have to go by yourself. Well, you can watch me drink. Why would I want to see you sit in a hot, provocative top going, la 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 la, fever! Just like that piece of music on the shorts. I have done some social experiments that have been very fascinating. I went down to Soul Bar years ago. If I was to wear this down there, and I should do it one night just to see what happens. Black, white men sitting at the bar with a high. Got her legs crossed and her skirt on. And women always hold their drink with their pinky all the way out. They're not talking to him. He's shelling out the money for the booze. I'm sitting against the wall, looking at the stage, and if I recognize a song, I'm kind of... And grown men are looking at me. And I'm thinking, interesting, they got a hot girl right there who's doing nothing but draining his wallet. Getting, that the men have to do this rite of passage. And they're looking at me and the man's going, that I am moving a grown man and I'm not a girl. And I learned something. People are boring. People suck and they lack passion. And before you think all those men are gay, sometimes me cutting loose arouses them because that woman they're with, there's nothing there. All she is an alcohol container. That's it, with a pretty outfit on. That a grown man can look at me and go, I know it's weird, but that guy would be passionate. And I don't want to get on them. There are times, and this happened the other night. I was having a hard time getting to sleep, and I stripped all my clothes off under the blankets, and I felt wildly horned up. And I relieved myself in the bathroom at a very awesome thought. It wasn't Christ-like at all, but it worked. We will find a surrogate. People will find a surrogate. There are people that will either play the game, and Christians do it too. Yes, I love my wife. Yeah, make sure you tell me that 20 times because you're trying to convince you, not me. And I call bullshit. Because in Christianity that he is on, well, now you're a Christian, you got to change. We did change. Christ delivered us from the kingdom of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of light. But watch this. Paul goes on in lengthy detail. The good I want to do, I do not end up doing, but the evil that I don't want to do. What is he talking about? Bible scholars say, he's talking about before he's saved. That is a lie. When I was unsaved, I never thought, I want to stop this. Mike Lawrence was a kid when I was in 5th grade. I didn't know it at the time, but he was a troubled kid. The kids at Mammoth made fun of me. He hung out with me. I'd get on one swing, he'd get on the other. And I was a stupid kid. We had moved to Mammoth. And my biggest thing was riding from LA to Mammoth in a U-Haul truck, the old Ford steel truck, front end. And I was so intrigued with riding in a U-Haul truck. And I was into trucks, and the other kids made fun of me. And Mike and I would try to swing, where the swing kind of bounces when you get to the top because you're going too high. I said, what if we could go around the bar? And Lawrence, we were running around on the playground, and the girls started chasing us. And we ran to the opposite end. When I tell you this playground was huge, you'd have no idea. They had the blacktop right outside the school. And the blacktop would go down on the one side to sagebrush and little rabbit trails that the kids had made. And on the other side, there was an ecology pond way down. We were told not to go down there. It was for study, and the kids would sneak down there and step in it and get their feet all wet. The other end of the playground was closer to the highway, which was a couple miles out. And you could look at the Sierra Nevadas, Mount Laurel, Mount Morrison, my favorite view ever. And we had a cow pie floor, all these cow pies, twisted pieces of sagebrush, broken plywood, like 4 feet wide and 6 feet long, and it was up against the BLM barbed wire fence. It had a makeshift door, and we'd rattle the girls' cages, and we'd run, and I dived in there and says, go in, I'll cover you. We're kids, we're playing. And I dove in there, and he got on my back, and he started massaging my neck. And it felt so good, I thought nothing of it. I said, that feels good. He goes, you deserve it, man. You're a good guy. What I did not know is Mike Lawrence had a little bit of gay stuff flowing through him. He was living with his older sister, and she was abusive. And he would tell me some of the stories about what went on in that house. And I was like, as a kid, I had my own problems with my mother. And I never had an attraction to Michael. I never looked at him and thought, ooh. But when I got older and the kids made fun of me, I remember relieving myself at the thought of him massaging my back and how good it felt. I've always been a very strong, affectionate, touchy guy. And men try to put off this machismo. Yeah, I'm damaged. I prayed for Michael the other day. I said, God, I have no idea if he's even alive, but he got a bad deck of cards, and I pray that he got saved, and I pray that you got your hand in that boy's life. And for me to admit this stuff on here, you're not going to go to YouTube and have these kind of discussions. Most men in America, they act like castles. Drawbridge is up. I'm doing well. How are you? Talk down to people. Exude a false confidence. Stand upright. Wear the right clothes. I don't need any of that. Most men look at me and go, that's okay. Often God uses a contradiction to challenge the norms. I'm the contradiction. Deal with it. Regarding the gay and lesbian issue, a lot of this stuff does not necessarily mean you are gay or lesbian. We talk about attention deficit disorder. Well, that's not just talking about the brain. I have attention deficit disorder. I did not get. Not in a marriage, not with my mother. I never got the love I needed. People join gangs because they're rejected by society, and a gang makes them feel valued. People get involved in all kinds of crazy stuff. They'll join a cult because they were made to feel accepted. I'm too smart for that stuff, and I don't have any interest in that. And are there times, if there was a nice man who was clean hygiene, wanted to give me a full body rub and feel me up, I'd be like, go for it. Does that mean I'm gay? No. I'm attention starved. And when you can't get a woman because of all the bullshit and the games that girls play, how many have said they were going to come by and see me? None. None did it. I'm not trying to guilt them, but that's what they do. White women are the carrot on the stick. And here in Augusta, it's 53% black. Most of the black women are to the left of the political spectrum, very open about pot, smoking, drinking. A lot of the young ladies here are loaded with a tribe of kids. For somebody like me, I wouldn't even launch my boat into that water because it would sink. I don't have racial hangups. I looked at a Mexican woman and I thought, what if she is interested in me? But then I asked myself my own question, could she live with me? I like to blast my music. Is she going to get in here and want to hear only Mexican polka music? I don't know. You have to try. And it may be nothing. Maybe a pigment of my imagination that she was just looking because I was a curiosity only. You know, you can't know the mind of a woman until you spend time with her. Lots of time. The bad thing about Western Caucasian women, I apologize for what I'm about to say, but it is my experience. I don't even have to have a week of conversation. And every warning light in my dash, boom, 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 boom. Oh shit. I mean, it's just self-evident. I'm just saying, women are going to have a problem with me saying that. They're going to disagree. That's fine. I'm just telling you my experience. And I lived with a wife for 14 years. And many white women do this. Well, there's a bunch of bad guys too. Why is it anytime I say something to a white woman, nanny, nanny, boo-boo, my dad's bigger than yours? Can you grow the F up and stop that? Can you just allow a man to, can you validate and realize that some of us have been through just as much hell as you women have been through at the hands of women? Can you just do that instead of going, well, baby, baby, baby. You're a baby. This is my platform. If you're so offended because you're hearing something that really rattles your cage because you wanted the stage and you want to believe all of us men are bad, well, this doesn't fit the narrative, does it? Because I treat women right. I treat people right until they push and push and push and push my buttons. And I've said this. You got women out here complaining about violent men. So many women claiming their men are abusive. And I'm starting to go, what was she like to live with? I'll give you a little hint, women. You get up in a man's face and start all that yelling and stuff, you are wrong. You put us in a fight or flight. No woman should ever put a man in that. Our fight or flight should be for your protection. Not me having to figure out, do I shove her away from me? Or do I run from her? And what I've learned, I'm not going to shove her because then you get in trouble. I'm going to walk away. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. Keep pushing hard on me. I'm going to walk away from you. Are you ready, boots? Mine are ready every day. Every day. And I can throw a woman away just as fast as she came in my life. The defense mechanism. I can get a back rub from a guy who has a motive because he thinks I'm hot. And he'll give me a deep tissue massage and he will respect, no, you're not putting your thing in my butt and you can't do this or that with me. It's not that easy with a woman. You get all tangled up with that, you have sex with her, you move her into your house, you just filleted yourself. You just filleted yourself. I have my problems and I have my weaknesses. But I do have a castle door that's up. And there's so far I will let a woman go and I'll say, that's it. You're not moving in here. Mm-mm. And if I did marry, the house will not be in her name. We will not do joint bank accounts. And there will be a prenup because today it's 2026. And just, I said years ago, if you have to get a prenup, you have no business marrying each other. So therefore, I just admitted to myself, if I have to get a prenup, then no marriage. And this is why everything's turned into FWB. Women that are in a relationship want to suddenly come on to me. There was a black woman named Dominique who worked at Transportation years ago. She got on Facebook, I like you. I said, well, I like you too, you're all right. No, Mike, I said, you got a boyfriend. So I'm not dating a shared chick. Oh, come on, Dominique. I don't want somebody's skanky dipstick in your thing, and I'm going to put mine in there too. And I didn't have a desire for her that way anyway. She's a big black woman. She could kill me if she rolled over me in bed. No. And there's this dichotomy. I'm attracted to petite women. They're the worst at a relationship. All of them are drama queens. The last man I had was so bad, and I got to hear about it for 30 years. And their sexual output, zero. They look good. They got cute bodies. And they have no sex drive. And they use it as a carrot on a stick. I should date an ex-porn star. That'd be perfect for me. She loves sex. Well, good. We could have fun. No more porn. You be my little porn star. The fact is, I joked to my uncle years ago, I need to marry a prostitute that gets converted to Christ. He said, I know a guy that did, and he said their marriage is beautiful. I said, exactly. Because she won't put this damn trip on me. And she'll have the best sex because it's real. A lot of these Christian women, scary to get involved with because they know a little bit of the Word of God, and now they're going to beat you up with it every time you have a struggle with something. Your wife is not somebody to come up on you and berate and do that to you. She's supposed to be a helpmeet. And I find, looking objectively as I can at female society in America, they are a hindrance and a damn liability. And they're over there whining about how bad all of us men are. You didn't choose to date me. You choose to date asshole 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now you say all of us are like the 4 a-holes. How am I supposed to take you with any degree of seriousness? And looks, they're that fishing lure with a hook. That Rapala going through the water, shiny, and the fish goes. And women know what they're doing when they wear this and no bra. Hi, Michael. Hi, slut. How you doing? I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? The only string guitar you have on your guitar looks. Guess what happens, ladies? It's got one tone. Down, 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 down. And at a certain age, down, boom. Oh, that's gone. The guitar's no good. Nothing else is there. Keep playing your looks. And you wonder why we get burnt out. You wonder why we lust. Because when your looks go, there goes everything. You got to develop something in here. The women will go to the gym to work on their cardio, but they'll never work on their heart in real life. That is an American phenomenon. They'll go to the gym. They'll look like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Brag about how many reps and lats they can do. Inside, their heart is blacker than lung cancer. Why do we do that? It's interesting that Paul told Timothy, bodily exercise profiteth little. That doesn't mean we should be lazy. But see, women shifted. Back in the day when they did laundry and ran the house, they didn't go to gyms, they didn't have gyms, and gyms, if there were for men that were into boxing or basketball or whatever. But in an agrarian culture, you didn't see the obese women. Women were slender, men were slender because they were working. Now we got these damn appendages attached to us called a phone. Me, I listen and watch everything. If a woman has an irritating voice, I proceed no further. I can't live with that. This may not be her fault. But if her voice grates on me, I don't care if she looks like Pamela Anderson. I can't deal with that. There's an insurance agent. When I bought this house, she was irritating as fook. I don't know what was wrong with her voice. I can't even duplicate it anymore, but man, she was a white older woman, irritating as heck. They insured my house at a certain amount. Then within a week, an adjuster came out and he gave me a list of things to do. Then they said my deductible will be a higher rate until these things are done. I said, wait a minute, y'all signed me up for this, and now you do a bait and switch. Well, I got new windows, I got the roof redone, and they wrote dumb stuff like I had just taken the fridge that didn't work and the dishwasher and put it neatly in the side yard with a stack of doors and wall paneling that I had stacked neatly ready to take to the dump. You need to get rid of the appliances. I said, man, I just put them out there. I'm staging it. I'm redoing my house. Wasn't even out there a week. And petty ass stuff. And I got everything done and I called. And this lady was irritating. Well, I'll come by and I'll check. Okay. Now, Michael, I can't even remember how she talked, but it was so bad. She told me there was a 6-foot-tall side light window. And when they put in the new door, I said, take out that window and frame that off and put in the new steel door. And it makes no sense to have a window this big right next door where you could just bust and open the doorknob from the inside. Dumb. I had that in the back room. It was thermopane and it was tempered glass. I had it setting down back there for a year. I went to move it. I moved it and I set it on a padded thing, leaned it gently. I took 2 steps and it went, what the hell? It just exploded. So, well, I don't need to save that anymore. When they framed it, they put pressure-treated plywood. You can't paint that for 30 days. It's got that chemicals in it. She says, you need to paint that. I said, it will be. I have to wait 30 days. Well, then you need to call me in 30 days. Ma'am, it's pressure-treated. Nope, they're going to hold me up. So when I got it done, I called her, and this time I was firm. I said, it has been painted. I have paid for the policy you gave me, and you guys bait and switched with the adjuster, and I met above and beyond what you told me to meet in there. I want this problem solved today. I can't stand white women like that. She comes, yes, Michael. Well, I went and looked, and you got it painted, and I looked through the list. It looks like you have met all the requirements, and since you've met all the requirements, we'll go back to the lower deductible. Yeah, duh. I was nice, but I'm like, you know what? Why is she in this business? That's where you want a man. Mike, I saw you got everything done. We'll rewrite the policy and we'll lower the deductible. Good job. That's it. Men are less bullshit on stuff like that. But I've noticed men have changed too. They're acting like women, being difficult. I see a lot of men act pissy. And I'm noticing that they were more raised by women. And I was raised dominantly by my mother. But I've been away from all those influences and I've had to become a man by myself. We live in a funny world. People who have more mental issues than I do are judging me as if though they are the standard of summa cum laude perfection. And I'm just like, really? You think you are the definition of arrived? That's cute. I'm not arrived until I go to heaven. And I know when I stand before God, I'm going to be going, yeah, God, yeah, you're right. There's going to be nothing. God's going to lay it out. Sometimes I wish he'd show up right now. Not blind me with his glory, but just say, Michael, let's have a talk. I would love that. And it just, there's something lost in the translation. The church I go to, bless the choir director, he's doing the best he can. His son only knows how to play the same songs on the keyboard, so we sing the same hymns, and they do the 80s track music. You know, the kind that has the drums and all that. It's stuff you would not listen to on your own time. That track music. Pre-recorded. And then it always goes, you know, the 80s had a lot of that. Like canned laughter, the same thing. I don't need it. It's not heartfelt. It's not passionate. It all follows a recipe. And that's why I really connected with John Michael Talbot. Truly legendary singer. Father, I place my life in your hands. Father, yeah, heartfelt. And so much music in the church today, the new stuff is just crap. It's as bad to me as rap music. It's just crap. There's no heart. I say it again, and I've told this story over and over. Did not get along with my older sister. But her and one of the ladies in my family at grandma's house had an upright piano. I'm a hyper kid. And they sat side by side on the piano bench. Dun 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 bong bong dun dun. And I was like, my ears perked up. Wow, I like that. My mom was too stupid to pick up on stuff. As a hyper kid, that music moved me. And it's become a theme of my life. Heart and soul. La da 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 da. Heart and soul. Most men in America are not heart and soul. Most women in America aren't heart and soul. They're bought and owned by a corporate world. They're bought by Starbucks, bought by SUVs, bought by Adidas, bought by Nike, bought by Dogco, Petco, Poopco, Pisco, whatever pet store is. And we're going to get involved with a woman like that and expect to have a good relationship. And they want to talk about dogs all day. Or their SUV. Or their latte. I'm deeper than that. That don't cut it. You have a relationship with the material world. Dating has become much easier for me because it's always the same. Nope, no date for Friday. Go back to YouTube. I swear. And people that are into that look at me like I'm dumb. That's what's really ironic. when culture all marches to the beat of the same drum and you don't get into the communist CCP lockstep with them, there's something wrong with you. And that's how society trains people to become disciples of their foolishness. Michael, you're not walking like me. What are you wearing? Michael, get in line. No. Goodbye. I'm not in this army no more. Now, go get Michael. Don't come near me. Don't come near me. No. Society's told me all my life, you're different, you're weird, you're strange. Good. Keep insulting me. I will continue to walk contrary to you. Freedom is not defined by getting in sync, lockstep with everybody. Freedom is defined first by, are you set free by God? And are you set free to be the person you're supposed to be, minus everybody's opinion and expectation? Most people cannot do that, will not do that. When I went downtown Spokane many years ago, all the white girls and white boy freak show was down there. Green hair, hairy underarms on the chicks, earrings and tackle box all over their face, skater dye shirts. I walked down there and I got nervous. Oh my. And the conversations and the way they were looking around, I was like, this isn't comfortable. And they all thought that they're being unique. You all exactly alike. We got freak culture. We got Subaru culture. We got Golden Retriever and Subaru culture with Land's End edition and the Eddie Bauer edition and women with tight but short haircuts. Yeah, I really like my Subaru. And this is my doggy. He's my fur baby. He's my child. Get away from me, please. You're scaring me. You're scaring me. No, I don't submit to this culture. No more. I'm alone now in the middle of it. What is going to change? I cannot fake it until I make it. Because I'm not going to make it by their definition. That's what Americans do. They see something exotic and different and they crowd around it and smother it and kill it. Leave it alone. I'm the last dinosaur. Enjoy seeing a dinosaur you haven't seen walk around. Leave it alone. Because when I'm gone, that's it. There is no other me. Mr. Rogers was profound. He didn't just run a successful show. He didn't just run a show full of integrity. He taught us something and most people fail to get it. If you can't learn from a kid's show as a kid, then you're screwed. He taught every kid there's only one you. And what does our society do? Michael, you're weird. You're not like me. Praise God, hallelujah, I'm not like you. Mr. Rogers didn't kiss ass to corporate America. He showed kids a crayon factory. He rode on a school bus talking to the female driver. He stooped down to a working class culture and showed kids, you could become this or you could work here. He didn't promote that bull crap. Professional. I love it when people argue with me. I say the word professional is not by the word skilled. That doesn't mean professional. I'm skilled too. That does not mean professional. I'm so sick of these damn commercials. Allow our professional team to come into your home and install your next heating and AC system. 20-year-old monkeys taught that bang the furniture, scratch the walls, fuck up the vent thing, and forgot to put the rest of the ceiling back. and you've charged me $8 million. Yeah, professionals. Screwed up the butt again. That's the way society is. It's all a lie. It's all BS. Professional raping of the wallet. That's the truth. The more I can learn to do myself, the more I can tell the professionals, do not come into my house. You're dangerous. Stay out. I'll do it. The mother of necessity. Or excuse me, necessity is the mother of invention. So it is with me. When I finally moved here and I realized I don't have anybody to help me, I would have to pay somebody. That's when education begins. Start using that brain and stop being a pussy and learn how to do something, Michael. And I did. And I don't need a woman, just like these women claim they don't need a man. Women have screwed me up. My mother, my sisters, the relatives in my family, the teachers, the women that harass me. They all are scarred and damaged. But guess what? I don't live in that. I go on. I pull on my pants and go to work. My point? I don't play victim. I don't let it stop me from trying. So tired of all the women saying, I was in a bad relationship. All men are bad. Most women are equally bad as the men. You might want to ask why you're attracting bad, violent men. Does it have anything to do with a deficit in you? Don't give me that crap. Well, I was nice. No, you were an idiot. Then women, I've learned in our culture, fail to take ownership for something that I've watched over the years. The men you chose was not violent, but you were so awful, yelling, berating, and he finally shoved you and hit you. Could that have anything to do with you provoking somebody to wrath? Michael, that's not right. Quiet, woman. The Bible says fathers do not provoke your children to wrath. Does that mean only fathers are capable of that? Why did it say just fathers? Aren't there mothers that can provoke children? Oh, yeah. Why do you think so many boys are shooting up schools? Growing up under mama? Huh? Why are all these boys becoming transgender and confused about their sexuality? Growing up under mom. Mom dominance. I love these women saying, well, it's Father's Day and I'm the father and the mother. No, you're not the father. And you played victim and you complained about him in front of your kid. You tore men down and tore men down. Now the poor kid doesn't know if he has a penis, a taco, or what down there. You know, I'm telling you, there's a lot of things we're not talking about in the church, and we're not talking about on YouTube, and these self-appointed experts that are rolling into money, that are talking out of their butt cheeks, because people believe it because it's on the internet. This channel is raw and the real deal. And most men will not do what I'm doing. I don't expect everybody to be just like me, but I will not be like them. It's not my calling. I don't want to be like them. They suck. They're boring. They're passionless. They do what's safe. I mean, even my supervisor the other day. This is what really bothers me about American men. They're assholes. I worked. It was hot, wet, and sticky. And the old man that used to own the company still works in sales. He turned over his share to his son, who's owner and the president. And the gentleman come back, and I always tell him a clean, appropriate joke, and he goes back and tells his wife. And the supervisor says, oh boy, here we go again, and made some berating remark. And the only reason I didn't say what I wanted to say is because he's in a position of authority. In America, when somebody's in authority and you stand up to their bullshit, that could have bad consequences on you. A lot of people get put in positions of authority that haven't earned it, that aren't good with it. And the longer I work at this place, this is low-level management of a guy that got out of jail for drug dealing, and he has turned his life around. And he's a manager, and he's 40 years old, and I've been very nice and respectful, and he's made put-downs and innuendos, and one day I'm going to address it. I got to find a way to do it and say, I give my all to you, and your put-down's hurtful. I know I'm not cool like you think you're cool, but you got to stop doing that because it's not nice. And that's the way most men are in this country. They're buttholes. They gangster up against the one weak. And it's not that I'm weak, I'm just different. And I hate that about men. Most men in America are douchebags. Most men are overly macho, they're insecure, they're buttholes. They drive like buttholes, they act like buttholes, they brag about their truck, they brag about their gun, they brag about their drinking, and they look at me and they sneer because they're buttholes. And that's why I don't get close to most men. And conversely, when somebody's really nice and flowery with their praise, all the dash lights come on. What's going on? There's a motive in here somewhere. I'm 60, and only in the last year am I starting to realize, hey, you got to be careful, Mike. I'd say over 50% of the men in America are buttholes. I'd say over 50% of the evangelical preachers in the pulpit have no business being in the ministry and need to go get a regular job. Why? Because you don't confront the women in your congregations. Because you don't teach the Bible properly, and you went to cemetery and you believe a bunch of lies and you try to guilt people when that's not what the scriptures say. I tell you what, I have my problems, but I do have my vision. Even though my eyes are bad, my spiritual eyes are 20/20. How ironic. My eyes are bad, but God gave me insight that's crisp and clear. I am broken. I am damaged. Not like the Titanic. I did tell a lady friend of mine, and I love her as a person. Couldn't live with her with all of the bullshit that she justifies and rationalizes, but she's pretty, and I like her as a person, and I believe in supporting her, with some encouragement in her journey. She's got a problem with drugs and alcohol and mushrooms and marijuana and prescription drugs. And I said, you got to stop. Well, I can't entirely. I said, you need to stop entirely. Because when you got addictions with all this, you got to knock all that off. And I told her, I said, have you ever looked at the Titanic wreckage? The photos of it? I haven't. I said, go look at it. I said, you look like the stern section of the Titanic. That is unrecognizable. I said, me trying to deal with you is like trying to pull that stern out of the muck of the Atlantic and restoring that. She got hurt when I said that, but she pondered it. She said, I got upset, and then I started laughing, and I looked at pictures, and I'm like, oh my gosh. She said, you had an impact on me, Mike. I told my dad what you said. And my dad looked at me and says, I don't know who this Mike is, but sounds like he has some wisdom, and that's a very good way to put it. I don't care what a bunch of buttholes on the internet think of me. I already know they're screwy. There's no need to rail on that. I'm honest about my struggles, my sins, my mistakes. I will let people down simply because I'm a man. Simply because I'm human. I'm going to share this with you because it seems to be when I share this in chat, nobody's listening and they're all, and I love that they're interacting, but this is why we turn off chat. More people watch the videos when the chat is off. There are subscribers that come to chat that said, no, I like it that you do your rants because I get something out of them. The chat is for, I don't want to use the word fellowship, but for camaraderie. The rants, I can get my point across. So a woman wrote me. She's in my Discord, been a regular. She let me know yesterday she was offended. She came into the chat the other night when Life of Heather, one of my subs, came in and she said, you cheated on me. I said, I've never cheated on you. And we started this mock soap opera. And some people coming in were like, what is Mike talking about? What is going? And it took them a minute. They actually thought that I had dated these women and all this thing was coming out on the internet. And then I finally said, this is a soap opera, guys. It's all fake. Oh my gosh. People coming to the channel the first time said, oh my gosh, I thought this was real. This guy's blasting this out on the internet with these women in the room. It was awesome. This regular's offended, didn't know it was mock. And when she came in, I said, well, even ask her. She probably thinks I'm cheating too. She said, when you brought my name, I was upset, but I want to see. She goes, you say you don't do drugs, but I heard what you were saying and you were on something. I wrote her back. I said it was a mock soap opera with Heather and I. The room knew it. I thought you would pick up on it. You didn't. I'm sorry for that. It was simply a joke. I'm sorry you took it wrong. No response. She goes, I might have to unsubscribe and just pray for you. Honey, unsubscribe and just pray for me. And pray for your marijuana addiction too. I'm becoming cynical to this because, man, if you can't figure out that I'm consistent and we had a joke mock-up, and if you'd have stayed with the chat the whole time, I said, man, that was funny. You guys did great acting. You came in for 2 minutes, saw something, and ran to the goal zone that there's something wrong with Michael. That's what the media does. That's what the media did with George Floyd. They got one guy on the ground that took a video with the knee in the neck. I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Do you know how much power there is in that little snippet? It was effective. MSNBC knew it. They're talking too much about Anthony Fauci. We've got to have a distraction. Hey, we just got this video of the Minneapolis police with a knee on the back of a guy, and he's saying, let's roll that beautiful bean footage. And America went to hell overnight. Oh, systemic racism, systemic racism. Nobody's talking about Fauci. Nobody's talking about COVID. And the Democrats are talking social distancing and wearing your masks. Did you see all the social distancing going on in the riots? Did you see all the masks that were worn? Ha! 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 And all those people that were rioting, none of them were conservatives. None of them were born-again Christians. They were leftists. They were anti-Trumpers. You know, I get tired of people trying to say, well, Michael, the Republicans aren't the ones rioting and tearing up the streets. It's your clowns on the left. Well, the insurrection was a bunch of Antifa agents. Not one Trump supporter went in there and killed or damaged anything. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Was not an insurrection. And where was all the police? The police walked in that guy dressed in fur and escorted him in the building. And they arrested him and he didn't do anything. Yeah, that was Nancy Pelosi's baby. The problem with Donald Trump is he didn't hold his cards close to his chest. He said, we're going to go January 6th. Uh-oh. You just let the idiots know what you're doing. And what do the liberals say? Let's turn this into a shitstorm to make them look bad. Boom! Grown people lying because they hate Trump so much. It's called TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. It is a real, absolute disease with Democrats. It's okay you don't like Trump, but you've tried to kill him how many times? You've tried to frame Roger Rabbit. You tried to implicate him in Epstein. He's the only one that talked about the Epstein and getting it out there. Biden didn't say anything. Bill Clinton didn't. I'm sure Bill Clinton was down there doing this all day long. All day long. Hillary was probably watching him with her. Never mind. I gotta be careful. This society's cooked. This American Democrat, Capitol Hill is cooked. I don't know what drugs you need to take to wake up and realize it's cooked. It's burnt sugar. We're done. My question is how long, oh Lord, are you going to allow America? It's like this. Let me use a demonstration, people. This is America right now. Let's do this. Do not drop the phone in the toilet, Michael. That would suck. Let's do this. This is a toilet bowl. Watch me flush. This is America. I have to flush this once a week. It gets mold. See how slow that is? See how slow that is? That's America. You keep swirling around the bowl, but it won't quite go down. I need to clean that today. I don't use that toilet much. I just flush it once in a while. Keep the pipes lubricated. That's America. Slow flush. We should have crashed a long time ago. I believe after the rapture happens, this country is over. It's washed up beach whale. Not because Christians are so great, but we do have somewhat of an influence. And when we're gone, the Holy Spirit is pulled out with us. There's nothing to stop darkness. America is going to implode. The secular world doesn't get it. They can't. This is my therapy. Going to a psychiatrist won't do me any good. I go to my pastor with questions, but I don't go in for counseling. Counseling really is basic common sense. If you want to solve a problem, find a way to solve it. There's some problems I cannot solve, so I adapt. My friend who's a school teacher, and she teaches special needs kids, they have what's called adaptive PE, and it's adaptive because handicapped kids cannot do what non-handicapped kids do in gym. When they go bowling, they cannot just grab a ball with the three fingers and gracefully throw the ball. You give a special needs kid a ball, he's going to drop it on his foot or loft it in the air and go bam and hit the lane. So they put the bumpers in there and they put the little bowling ball stand and you just push. And I believe in that because it makes them feel like they're doing something. Even handicapped kids need validation. Allow me to tell you a story about a black student. Name will be withheld for privacy. High school student. He'd get on the bus in the morning. The mother would spend money on her outfits and her hair. The house was a mess. The yard was a mess. They never raked it. There was leaves and trash and broken limbs. It looked like the place was abandoned. I'd have to walk up. Hey, bus is here. You guys ready? Escort the kid on. Seatbelt him in. Tall black kid. And the poor guy had snot just running out of his nose, all over his shirt. He can't talk. One of the school teachers got ringworm severely dealing with him because he was covered in it. I got it a few times. I wore gloves. This kid, you buckled him in. You had to watch your face, because if he got in one of his moods, he would suddenly reach around the seat. We had another lady on there one day with me. He grabbed her hair and I had to grab his wrist. Let go. I said, don't move. Let me get his wrist. And I squeezed down where he released his grip. I said, move. Move away from him. I got this. I would get a Kleenex and my rubber gloves, the non-latex gloves, the towels, and I'd wipe his face. And I was very gentle. You know what he would do? He'd look at me and he'd go, ah. He was happy. Mom didn't do that. Brother didn't do that. The driver didn't do it. The other monitors didn't do it. Even the ones that were the same ethnicity as he was. And now I say this because I've heard so much shit talk about our race, and I'm on there serving the people. And I'm treating this man, he's not my son. I could do like, he's handicapped, his nose is running, just don't touch. Wipe his damn nose. You don't have to be my kid. That's a person. He can't do it. Do it for him. Moron. You're in the business of caring. You don't just put them on the bus and transport. You make a difference. And I get tired of people talking about me. Whether it's Fem Yaz and all his twisted, shameful, whatever. He doesn't do that for anybody. Selfish, narcissistic. And I worked with handicapped people, and I cared about those kids. And he'd get in his mood, that kid, and start going off. It scared the other kids. One of the other black ladies said, Michael, that scares the crap out of me. I said, it's okay. He's having a moment. Move away from him. I'd put his window down, put fresh air on him. I'd see his nose. I'd call him by name. I'd hold up the towel and I'd approach gently. He'd put his hands down. I'd wipe. Calm down. Even handicapped kids need to know that somebody cares. You know what Americans teach us? We tell people that we care. We tell them that we love them, but our body language, 180 miles away from that. And that's what professionalism does. We're going to teach you how to act. We don't need to teach people how to act. Everybody knows how to act, and that's all they're doing. Teach people how to be. America, corporate. Stop teaching them to buy your shit that you charge too much money for. Start making quality. Lower the prices and tell your customers you care about their hard-earned money. Stop bullshitting us. That'll never happen. Anybody who loves the world, the love of the Father's not in him. So go ahead and love that corporate world. Love those SUVs. It's crazy. They're not your friend. I'd rather go back to the Garden of Eden before there was roads, smokestacks, boiler systems, Titanic, furnaces, taxes, voting booths. I'd love to look at Eve and go, huh, Eve, you're beautiful. Look at this. Look at that fruit. Eve, I love you. Stay away from that tree. Don't go anywhere near it. Don't listen to nobody. Hey, what is this one? And God says, Michael, that's the tree of life. God, really? Yes. We can eat from it? Yes. Oh, baby, come on. Man should have set his wife straight. We're at 142 likes. That was my bus number out here. The worst bus of the fleet. There was no cushion in the shocks. You hit a bump in the road, the whole dash, the whole bus sounded like it was going to fall apart. The sound of metal grinding, loud bus, hot. The AC didn't work. The engine was right by me. And I had the worst routes with the loudest kids. I said, man, I got nothing on here but loud crowd. As loud as I am, they could not hear me in the back of that bus. I had to stop, walk back there and say, do you hear me? No, it's too loud in here. Yeah, because you're all shouting. Stop that. Oh my gosh. This thing's loud enough and you guys are yelling like it's a football game in here. Shrieking. The girls would shriek. You got these cute little black girls get on with all the little beads and barrettes, and they're back there going, ah! How can somebody so cute make all that damn noise? I go back to the back of the bus one day, they're not supposed to eat. There's a tiny little black girl, they're all black, and she's back there with a huge pickle, and has had half of it eaten, and she's... I said, a pickle? I stood there with my hands on the seat. A pickle? You're eating a pickle? And the kids started laughing. And I walked back and sat down. I didn't even chew her out. Big old pickle, bigger than her. I love working with kids. And I hated working with kids. It's a love-hate. The last thing I want to do is date a woman with a bunch of little kids in tow. No, thank you. Just the day in and day out is a struggle. There are days I'm waking up now going, you know, God, I don't want to go to the warehouse today. It's hot, it's wet. My supervisor is going to be pissy. There really is no incentive to go except the need to survive. That's the only incentive to go. There's no joy in this. This isn't fun. Michael, how do you like your new job? You're stupid. Why don't you work there and I'll ask you that? It's a grind, man. It's old-fashioned grind work. To make the people rich that own it. It's kind of a dumb philosophy. I have to go to work because God commands it so I can buy my food and to pay your bills. Dream job. And then people keep saying, Michael, you haven't found the right one. I'm never going to find the right one. I'm a Christian. And some people believe that when you're a Christian, you just automatically... Frosted Lucky Charms, they're magically delicious and you're just perfect. No. There is no such thing as the right one. You got the right one, baby. Max Headroom. He said there was a right one. I think he was talking about Coke or Pepsi. Coke. Good stuff. Put a stud nail in there and watch what it does to it. Sometimes as a Christian, I despair. I'm tired, as they say down here. I'm tired, Michael. I'm tired. I don't want to come in today, Michael. I'm glad you came in. Why? I'm at the point in my life, like Ecclesiastes, round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. Every time you call my name, I heat up like a burning flame, warm desire. Kiss me, baby, make the fire get higher. Oh, she's done flirting. She got her gas tank filled. She's not coming to see me. Bye. Here comes somebody else. Michael, I really love you. I would love to date you. If I was close, I would date you. Can I have your Discord? Can I have your text message? Can we talk? That lasted for 2 days. Never hear anymore. Life is crazy. And when you get older, your perspective gets deeper. Read Ecclesiastes. Meaningless, meaningless. All is vanities. I worked, and I worked, and I worked. And all that I have will go to somebody else. And one day they won't even remember me. 100 years from now, nobody's going to say, Mike Nelson had an awesome YouTube channel. Nobody listening to my channel right now will be here in 100 years. Let that sink in. There will be no statues of me for seagulls and pigeons to poop on. That part is awesome. I don't want a statue to be pooped on. I don't want a statue of me. Build an ocean liner and name it the Pacific. I'll look down from heaven and wink. Actually, I won't. There won't be another ocean liner ever. And there won't be another Michael. Praise God, hallelujah. He broke the mold on me. There was only one Titanic and there's only one Michael. Well, the Olympic was not exactly like it. There were differences. The promenade deck on the Olympic was open. But guess what? Who knows that God did not create you for such a time as this? I was the scaredy cat. I was the bullied running. I never objected or rocked the boat because of fear. Now I'm rocking the boat because I'm tired of seeing what's going on. Donald Trump ran not because he wanted the power. Did you know that? He did not want to be president. He was sick and tired of what was happening to the country. I'm speaking out because I'm tired of the lies and tired of the bullying and tired of all of it. And I feel a need that somewhere somebody's listening going, my gosh, he gives me hope. That's good because we need it because it's pretty hopeless out there. I just want to make it to my year work anniversary here. And after that, I really want to find a way to get the heck on out of this place. That's all. But where to go? I wish it was like the old days. Michael, you standing around down here. Why don't you ship out? Well, I'm looking for a ship, Captain. Well, come on. I'm going to India. I like you, you stay on. I'll pay you this much for the voyage. Deal. I wish it was like that. I wish we were in those times. Now it's every man for himself. I wish I had a dad. A dad, not a father, a dad. Where I could say, hey, Dad, I missed you. No. That's gone. That's done. He tried. And it's not entirely his fault. It's his wife. She wanted to adopt kids. She got her way. She wasn't happy. So let's do this. Let's adopt. Let me get puppies. Let me get goats. Let's buy this house. I don't like this one anymore. My dad tried to accommodate that miserable woman all her days. And where did it get him? He's in the grave. Where did it get him? A loving, sweet helpmeet? No, that woman cost him a lot of money. In defense of my dad that adopted me, his wife sucked. And I had to grow up watching that. And if he tried to stand up, women have ways of doing things. Failing to submit to the headship of the house. They'll undermine and undercurrent and rip, tide and undertow everything to death. And I learned you can never trust a woman. Ever. There's a motive. There's an agenda. And it will come out eventually. I wanted to believe I'd find a sweet woman that just loves me. Does that even exist? Even here, I don't care. She was younger than me. She's not into fooling around and screwing around on the internet. She wants me. When I come in, honey, I fixed a good dinner for you. I missed you. I want a woman to serve me. When I got to go to a shitty job in a shitty world, it'd be nice to come home to sweet open arms and a house of love. You see, I built myself or remodeled myself a house. I can't make it a home. Love can. I get tired of life. I'm not suicidal, but I wish God told me I had 3 months to live. That would give me hope. I wish God, if I got to be stuck working a shitty job for shitty pay in this hot, wretched South, in this crazy culture, God, let's go to heaven. Please. Well, Mike, you're not ready. That's not for you to decide, cowboy. That's for my Father. And I'll never be ready. I'm ready the moment I trusted Christ as Savior. And I've already said, God, I'll be lucky if I get a C- when I stand before you. I don't rate myself high with God. I'm not going to say, I drove out demons, I did this. No. God, I'm here because of your shed blood. That's it. And even as a Christian, I loused it up. Loused it up. Remember that word? Man, you loused that up good. I don't even know where that came from, but I remember saying it. People used to say it. Some good views, some good likes. Thank you, folks. You can listen to anything on YouTube, and you chose to wander in here. Thank you. If you're looking for perfection, this is not the channel. If you're looking for a smooth operator, a person who never makes mistakes, I'm not your guy. But if you're into truth, vulnerability, honesty, and transparency, then I'm your huckleberry. Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling Clementine. Probably the best dressed dog on cartoon TV. Hey, Huckleberry. Hey, Augie Doggy. Augie Doggy. Forgot about that stuff. So a man that wears lace and some women tops, don't get scared. I just like to experience life for myself and make my own assessment. That's it. I was told all my life, do this, do that. Why are we doing this? Because I said so. It doesn't work with me. I'd love to be a woman sometimes, to feel sensual, to feel and touch my breasts and my hard nipples. I'd love to feel that. I think women have some awesome assets. But I'm a man, and I love being a man. I'm not going to become a woman because you can't. And I'm not a trans. I've embraced a little gay stuff. I've embraced foreign culture. I've owned a house. I've owned a Deuce. I've owned all three, Dodge, Chevy, and Ford. I've done a lot of things. And guess what? I'm with Solomon. Meaningless, meaningless. Says the preacher. A chasing after the wind. Sun comes up, the sun goes down, round and round it goes. The seas are never full, even though the rivers run into them. Yeah, that's me. Never full. The eye never has enough of seeing. I'm guilty. Somebody comes up, Mike, I got some scoop. Really? Tell me, what's the scoop? I still get it from transportation. People will call me, oh, Mike, you won't believe what happened at transportation. What now? Because you're going to tell me. They used to have a restaurant in Denver. The Asian restaurants, they used to be $1 a scoop back in the 90s. And now it's way more. But you get that fried rice and then little takeouts. The bus drivers liked it because you could go get your lunch for $1. Who doesn't get tickled about cheap stuff? I never thought I'd say it. When I was in Akron, Ohio, the first time, there was dollar stores everywhere. That's usually a red flag that the community is very impoverished. Well, guess what? I'm a proud shopper of Dollar Tree, and I am not going to apologize. At least they have real chips with real ingredients instead of Fritos, Doritos, and Cheetos that'll make you sit on the toilet and go shittos. You know? I need God like oxygen, but my body's tired. My mind, my spirit sometimes. I struggle. Sometimes I wake up and I want to be a male slut because I don't drink. I don't have anything. I don't have a little teddy bear that I can hold on to. I don't have a pacifier. Orgasms are nice, so I need one daily. Can't get it with nobody. Not supposed to do it before marriage. That kind of sucks. When you're a Christian, you can't do this and you can't do that. Sometimes people, Mike, is it worth trying to follow all these rules? Sometimes seemingly no. I don't want to displease God, but I know that I do anyway. I thank God that my salvation is not dependent upon me. I thank God that it's a sealed deal when I put my faith in Him. Be careful about salesmen Christians. Those are the ones teaching you how to act, not be. And if I want to wear something, I'm going to do it, and I'm not acting. I like the feel of this. We need to start saying, be truthful, be vulnerable. No, not like a sheep that walks to the valley floor with wolves on the ramparts. You don't lay your feet in the air and go, bah, and have fun. You're going to get eaten. Be vulnerable with God. Be real with each other. And even though we live in a macho, jaded, male and female culture, women will say, TMI, Mike, TMI. Yes, you guys are bumping clowns. Okay. We're TMI about this, but you have no shame about that. Funny how this culture is such opposites. It's like toddler culture. Tell the kid no, they say, yeah. Don't touch it, I'm going to touch it. We're a weird world today, man. Weird. Don't worry about me. Society blew past me in the definition of weird. Gotta go. This has been fun. If you like and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. If you're rich and you got nothing better to do with your money than spend it on Starbucks, dog food, and addictions, feel free to help a guy out. Pacific Ocean Asia 77 Cash App. Pacific Ocean Asia, all one word. 7777. And donate, okay? That would be awesome. But if you don't, I don't charge. I'm not monetized because I'm sick of bogus ads and I'm sick of products being shoved down my throat on every music video or any video I want to watch that I have no interest in buying and have no relevancy to my life. And I close with this. A gentleman from Utah left a comment on my post the other day about these data centers. He said, I'm in Utah and I cannot say on the internet, but they've got them here. And I wrote, I got you. They're dangerous. I got you. These data centers, a woman left a comment. I want to thank some of my subscribers. The intelligence level is awesome, male and female. A woman wrote, when we were kids, Michael, a computer was the size of a room to do what a calculator does. Or a building. You got in your phone an incredible amount. Why do they need these massive data centers? She makes a damn good point. Why do we need AI? Why is it all of a sudden the world, which is satanic anyway, get on this high horse about AI? Why is this necessary? What are they doing with it? You don't have to worry about population control. God's going to take care of that himself during the tribulation. Millions of people are going to be killed by the judgments. It's going to be carnage. The evening news ain't going to be talking about a car wreck. They ain't going to be talking about that. What are these data centers for? Why do they need so much water to cool them and hog up all this electricity? And Meta, M-E-T-A, that owns Zuck's Facebook. Another corporate bunch of crap. You notice how corporate people come up with boring logos, boring names, uninspiring? Because they're a knife to the soul of anything passionate. Corporate America sucks. It's a blood-sucking parasite. They want to steal your money. They want to steal your property. They want to steal your freedom. They want to control us. They want to euthanize us. They want to kill us. That I believe. I cannot believe the hypocrisy of these clowns. Bill Gates talking about population control and eugenics. We'll start with you, buddy, because you weren't gifted with good looks. Bye. And let's get rid of George Soros. He's an asshat. And let's get rid of Al Gore. He fussed and whined about global warming, and he's got mansions and gas-guzzling SUVs, and, well, hey, those that are complaining about global warming that got the large carbon footprint need to be put in jail, their assets seized, and it can go back into preserving the environment. Yeah! Let's do that! You want gun control, Democrats? Let's take them away from you, because you guys are the ones trying to shoot and kill Donald Trump, not conservatives, not God-fearing Christians. I'm tired of this. No matter what people feel about Trump, you don't have the right to kill somebody because you don't like them. That's violence, and it's not okay. What if that tide turns against you? You got a transgender on this internet encouraging violence and hateful rhetoric while standing up for transgender rights, calling for violence against Charlie Kirk and Christians and me. Hello! Do you know what the definition of hypocrisy is? The left is the cancer to American society. They are the rust. They are the parasite. They hate our Constitution. They hate God's Word. They hate me and the God that saved me. I will never vote for Democrats. And if you are offended by that, good. You should be. Stop voting clown. They ought to just change the ballots. You have two positions to vote for. Clown or scholar. Then they just have little clown emojis, and the Democrats can go clown, clown, clown.
Yeah, I cast my vote.
The circus quit, and the clowns are looking for work, and they're all around us. I don't believe in these data centers. What data? What is it that they're looking for? What is this for? Why do they require so much cooling? And I was told that they make reservoirs and they pollute the water and they're fined millions of dollars, but they go on and keep doing it because they make so much money. It's funny that these information geeks are getting revenge on us. Zuckerberg and them were teased in school for being a nerd. The nerds are getting revenge. Of course Bill Gates believes in eugenics. He was teased growing up. He wants all of his teasers dead. He wanted to administer a vaccine to third world countries that had a fertility drug in it. Read the writing on the wall. He believes in eugenics. Third world countries, you give them all fertility drugs, they can't procreate. The Philippines, India, Africa, the populations drop. And you have nothing but a bunch of clowns that are Bill Gates' friends living and controlling the frickin' universe. Bill Gates needs to be incarcerated for that kind of a belief. That is evil. That is nothing more than Hitler. And I'm tired of the Democrats calling Trump Hitler. No, you guys are. Bill Gates is totally Aryan race. Eugenics and Aryan race are the same damn thing, different packaging. It's funny how these billionaires suddenly want to control everything and take it away from us. Notice something there? They don't want us to have individuality. Corporate America doesn't like me. They'd never put me in management. They'd never put me as a CEO. They'd never make me a supervisor. Any place I go will not put me in charge because I don't play the game. They won't do it where I'm at. Even though it's Christian-owned, they're not going to put me in a position of authority. It doesn't take long at any workplace for them to see Michael's a good worker, but he's not going to play our game. Bingo! Love not the world, Bible says. I'm not here to ass kiss. The only ass I would ever kiss, and only on the cheek, is the woman that I love. But it ain't going to be no boss. And it ain't going to be no corporation. And it ain't going to be no church minister or somebody in church. I go to church today. Church doesn't excite me like it used to. Because the same systemic problem that's permeated all cultures, permeated Christendom. We now have a coffee shop in our Sunday school, run by the woman with fake blonde hair who's a little bit poochy and her little tattoos and laughs at everything that's not funny. And these aren't sincere people. These aren't people that make me want to get closer and hungry for God. Our society is just decaying. And I'm sorry, I sound harsh. Some of you hear me and go, Mike, that's not nice. It's the truth. No passion. And they want to talk about coffee all day. That's all women. I got to have my coffee to get started. Man, you need Jesus to get started. I get out of bed, I don't need nothing. The minute I get up, I sit on the edge of my bed for a second, I get up and we're going. People are dead. Gotta have coffee, gotta have this. Sounds like an old car, the alternator's about to go and the battery's dead. Why would I choose a woman like that? I gotta get up every morning and I gotta turn the key on her. Forget it, it ain't starting, I'm done. New car! What? Why? This culture in Augusta, people lay around all day Saturday. Women, a lot of the black women will sleep all day long. They'll go to the store with their hair bonnet on, their pajama bottoms. They're sweated out, unshaved, pitted, whatever. And they got the attitude written all over their face. And judge our race. That's so fun. So neat to be in a culture that acts like they're flying at 36,000 feet when they're not even clearing treetops and they're judging our race. That's laughable. And my choice is here for a day? None, none, and none. It's 2026. I could get a date with a man easier than with a woman. And I'm not dating a dude. Men cannot give me what I need. Absolutely can't. Men are cavemen when it comes to sex. Very cavemen. Most men are not sensual. Most men are not lovers. Most men don't have a clue. They talk the talk. They hustle. They bullshit. and they smooth talk a woman, get her pregnant, and then they sail off into the sunset. Yeah, Jesus Christ, if that horn sounded, shofar, whatever, that trumpet, wow, that'll be music to my ears. It'll happen so fast, in the twinkling of an eye. May it happen. There's a term we used to say, Maranatha, meaning come, Lord Jesus. Please do. I'm ready. Are you? Or do you love the world too much? You can have it. I won't fight you for it. Thanks for listening. God bless. Be safe.